Fresh mangoes, very sweet.
How much for these spices? 20 rupees for a bag.
This fabric is beautiful.
ये रंग कितने दमदार है?
हाँ, ये देखकर नृत्य करने का मन करता है।
All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm Andre, also known as the Alchemist 369, and this live today comes after last week. Somebody asked me about disclosure, and I said, well, it's not going to be all this magnificent thing. It's going to be a little bit more downplayed than what I was anticipating. And then, just like always, the other side was like, oh, word, watch this. And then I see on the news, they're talking about 4 different types of ETs and things like that. So the other side is here, and they are here for you guys all the time. And to represent this, I brought 2 of my boys with me. So yeah, without further ado, Genie, welcome, Genie, and introduce yourself, my man.
Yo, what's good with y'all? It's GenieDot. For those of you who don't know, I'm an out-of-body traveler and spiritual explorer. But into spirituality since I was like 15 years old, beginning out of body since 16 years old. And I've explored a couple of things about reality. I've been shown a few things that have given me a base framework as to how things are built, who built certain things, and why they built them. And I just seek to teach everybody about what I've learned. I'm very open to other perspectives, and I don't like to shut people down for having their own unique ways of viewing things. I like to just come together, share ideas, and really find the common truth behind all things that we go through. So that's who I am, and I look forward to talking on this podcast with my boys.
Yeah, that's beautiful, Genie. That's beautiful. And I love how you said you don't like to shut anybody down. Me either. This is free range for everybody. Everybody needs to come together. And in doing so, when you hear multiple perspectives, you are then able to discern and come up with the ultimate truth, right? Because we all have our own perceptional wisdom, man. So beautiful, beautiful. It's good to have you here, man. Thank you for coming. And
Yeah, of
then
course.
along with me and Genie, we also got my guy Forfi. So Forfi, welcome, man. Introduce yourself. Oh,
What's going
you're
on, y'all?
muted.
This your boy Fourth Eye. Can y'all hear me? This your boy
Yeah,
Fourth
we
Eye,
can hear you.
aka the Ghetto Guru in the building. If you don't know who I am, that's I've been coming out my body for about 20 some years now. Um, I wasn't really on a spiritual journey when it happened with me. I started just having them naturally, so I was still kind of in my lower vibrational state. You know what I'm saying, while I was having it. Um, when I be what I try to give to people is the fact that you are not this body, and when you leave and you go to that other side, you need to know what to do when you go there. You need to know how to operate. You know what I'm saying? And man, it's a privilege to be on here with these two brothers, man. They got good content. They know what they talking about, and I'm just ready to get into this thing, man. You know what I'm saying? What's that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. So yeah, and I resonate with these two guys a lot. Genie's more on the analytical tip, like he breaks things
Yeah,
down in a very, very good way. That I resonate with. And then Fourth Eye, man, he's always coming through with the great stories. And when you hear any of these two guys speak, you automatically know, okay, these guys are real, they are legit, and they actually leave their body. It's very easy to be able to discern that. And then for those of you that don't know me, I am the Alchemist 369. I have been leaving my body successfully for about 2 to 3 years. And when I started, I took it very seriously, leaving 2 to 3 times a week, just trying to really understand reality and, get to the ultimate truth and then break it down in a way that people can understand. So I try to deliver, the ultimate truth behind things. And and I like to work with other people as well. So the first topic for today is going to be disclosure, and after this, we will open it up for a live Q&A for all three of us. If you guys have questions and stuff, we will get to those towards the end of this. But yeah, so the first topic is disclosure. Now, last week during a live, somebody asked me disclosure. Do I think next year dragons and things like that are going to be coming out? And I kind of downplayed it as if, because I was seeing when the other side speaks, they speak as if these things are going to be very massive and in your face and like it's happening now. In December 2025, I was shown that the field of this place is changing, allowing more information and things to come true. And that is happening. So disclosure is twofold. We have the construct actually opening up and allowing these things to happen, working in our favor. And then we also have conversations like these coming through. And then disclosure is actually happening. And then as soon as I said, I don't think it's going to be that big, the other side was like, really? Well, watch this. And then on the news, I see that they actually disclose 4 different races of ETs were actually found at classes. I believe they were the insectoids, the praying mantis type beings, the tall blondes, the reptilians, and the grays, I believe. And those aren't any of the human looking ETs except for the tall blondes. So when I seen that and they were talking about this on Fox, I was like, wow, okay, so disclosure is really here and it's happening. And who would we be if we're out of body travelers trying to help bridge the gap for people on this side to the other side? Who would we be if we weren't here to help you guys during this transition and give you guys insights from our perspectives? So that's kind of the first topic of this one. So, and Genie, I seen you did a video the other day about disclosure and things like that. You want to get into that and what you've seen?
Yeah, it was very interesting because I just woke up. I'm seeing ETs on the news. I'm like, oh, we coming straight to YouTube about this. Let's get my raw reaction. I'm like, oh, this is dope. If it was a few years ago, would have been even more hype. But I still like that. Okay, people are like actually starting to see that yes, these things are real. And I
Yeah.
even included another video that it was a U.S. Navy admiral admitting that Atlantis was real. So I'm like, okay, this is lit. And then also, I was doing some research, bro. There was a document released back in like 2010. I literally showed people how to find it on like the actual National Australian website. It's a document where they mentioned cat-like ETs. They said that they
Mhm.
were they saw a mushroom-shaped ship, and inside of it you had cat-like beings with cat-like faces. I'm like, so they're talking about the feline beings now, and
Yeah.
that's low-key already been out there. So the fact that it's getting more pushed in our face, that kind of shows also the consciousness of people. You see, sometimes people ask, like, why are all of the negative ETs allowed to do what they do? Well, let's be honest. There's humans, right, the ones that want to keep us in the lower state. Those humans know about the negative ETs and they're cool with
Yeah.
them. It's like, oh, you're gonna give me technology, power,
Yeah.
all these concepts. You only want 10 humans for that? You want to eat 10 humans? Okay, cool, And GTA,
Take a couple
hypothetically,
of.
right?
You got a couple of.
So that's why this has been allowed to happen. But as more humans on Earth are like, yo, we want to actually see more of the truth. ETs nowadays, like a lot of people believe in them already. So now it's like, okay, we kind of have to show them. We kind of have to tell them
Mhm.
that ETs are real. Now they're coming out with that. And yeah, I think it's an amazing thing. But just remember, there's so much more out there. But this is great. This is a great beginning. It warms people up. But y'all see the dragon behind me. Once y'all start seeing those, I don't know when that's gonna come. I'm sure it's gonna be a bit later than the
Yeah,
ETs, but be prepared because there's gonna be a lot of stuff being
Yeah.
shown to all of us.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
I'll cover that.
yeah, and these things are all real, guys. Like we all three of us have seen ETs out of our body.
Oh,
Like we
yeah.
all know 100% that they are real. Dragons too. Like all of these
Yeah.
things are real. It's just a matter of when are these going to come out to the general public. And to touch on what Jeannie was saying about how there's some negative ETs that want to control things, this is true. 100%. They were part of the control structure. They did come here and give humans ideas and concepts on how to control people based off religion, gave them weapons, guns, and really started to control people. And this primarily happened in the European countries. Now, when he says that there are some malicious or ETs with bad intention, a good way to look at this is ETs to humans. That consciousness level is the same type of consciousness or knowledge level from humans to dogs, let's say.
Mhm.
And you see how humans can either be very good to dogs, or there's some humans
Mhm.
that are malicious to dogs and
Yeah.
treat them bad. It's the same concept. Okay, there's some ETs that are good and some that have malicious intention. And the same way humans are trying to get together and say, no, we should be treating all dogs good, is the same way, they're trying to help us. That's just one good way to look at it. And when I say the consciousness level from ETs is similar to humans as humans are to dogs, that's just inside of these physical bodies. You have to understand that once you leave these physical bodies and you return back to soul form, you are then the infinite, and then you are then actually have more access than any ET because they're still incarnated. You see, so in your natural form, you are more advanced than an incarnated being for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then fourth, do you have anything to
Man,
say about disclosure? Have you seen anything?
I seen the same video. When I was actually watching another video today, but the thing about the disclosure thing when it comes to it's like I've been waiting for this for years, but I feel like they still holding back because they ain't telling us everything. They just be like, "Oh, we found some bodies. We found some bodies. No, y'all got some live ones too. I know y'all got some live ones. Like, don't be sitting there acting like y'all just got bodies laying around. I just found the crash and there was a body right there. Nah, but I mean, sorry, pilot, but yeah, I just been waiting on this. I've been waiting on it. And they
Yeah.
still holding some information back, because I done seen some in the out of body state and some of them I don't trust, but some of them You know, some of them I didn't even realize. Like, I'm like, yeah, they like we consider them ETs, but they humanoid. They didn't really speak. Now I don't want to see that praying mantis. I don't know how they really is. I see that praying mantis. I might run a little bit. Nah, I'm playing, but
No, but that's a good point too, man. And they certainly do have more information than they're disclosing to you guys. That's why, you know, people like us are beneficial as well, because on the actual news station, the fact that Fox News said that yes, scientists have confirmed that there was 4 different types of ETs found at crash sites. That's huge from where we were a couple years ago. You guys have to understand, like, that is huge. So it is real and legit. And there's tons of things coming out this year. Steven Spielberg's movie Disclosure. I seen something, I don't know the validity of this, but saying that everything in that movie is actually true, and that these things, they do know things, and disclosure is happening, and it is here. And a good aid to this disclosure is the internet. A lot of people feel like technology hurts things, but the internet actually helped propel this whole awakening, because now you have people like us on social media and telling stories and channelers and everything blowing up independently outside of the controlled media, the controlled narrative. So now the truth is just out there. Oh, thank you, Sharon. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sharon,
You know,
now
now the truth is out there, and you know it's going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, why I downplayed this last week was because I didn't want to get anybody's hopes up, you know, because when I in the other side, like even in that experience that I had in December, where I was shown, you know, the field was changing, and I was told something about Atlantis too in this time period. I was told that Atlantis is America, or it holds the America's template. Either it was or it is America, something
I got
around
something for
that.
I got
Okay,
something for
yeah,
that.
because
Yeah.
I was shown that in the experience as well. The toroidal field was opening up, and then after that, they were like, yeah, and Atlantis is the American template, or it is, or was America, or it is, or something of that nature. And when they showed me that it was opening up now, it seemed as if it was really a big event, and it was happening now. And I'm like, you know, and then you could get out here and you don't really see these things that much. But now it is. That is a big thing that happened, you know, on the news, saying that these 4 ETs are good. But yeah, go ahead, Genie. What do you got to say about Atlantis?
Yeah, so before we got live, I mentioned the whole Peru, Guatemala stuff. At one point, I left my body, went to Guatemala, the pyramids there, and I learned that essentially all those South American structures were part of Atlantis at one point. So, like, we think about Atlantis like as like this fallen continent. Yes, some land fell, but it was spread out all across the Americas, South America, parts of North America. Like, they were all
It was
existing at the same
worldwide.
exact time.
It was worldwide.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
it was a
it's like
whole
you had this,
civilization.
like when we talk about the Great War too, it's like I'm gonna keep this simple, saying like Atlantis and Lemuria, like Atlanteans are more like towards like the Americas and stuff like that on the west. Lemuria was more like on the east and stuff like that. They met where Egypt is at right now, like in the middle. It's like the middle of Africa. So it's like you had these 2 different ways of being. Atlantis is a bit more technologically focused, they say a bit more masculine and whatnot. That's pretty much true. Lemurians were a bit more like sensitive, emotional based and whatnot, and they had a lot of conflicts, and that's why Egypt's a desert now, because it's in the middle of those 2 main territories. They met in the middle. They were trying to go to each other's lands, and they met in the middle, and they destroyed Egypt and stuff like that, or at least they destroyed the the old lush land that was there.
Yeah, and when we're talking about the Great War, you guys have to understand that deserts are not natural. Any place where you see a desert was a hot spot. The Grand Canyon, the Arizona place in there. If you go to the Grand Canyon, there's hieroglyphics in the walls. There's pyramids. There's places that humans can't go. The Sahara Desert. If we dug up the Sahara Desert, we would understand there would be so much there. If you go to Egypt, actually go, you'll see they're not digging it up. They dig a little bit and then they stop. And if you go deep enough in the sand in the desert, you'll see there'll be glass. There will actually be glass. This is directly correlated to high heat temperatures. When sand is open up to extreme temperatures, glass is created, and that's from the Great War. Another hot spot is like the Iraq and Iran area. That was a very big hotspot. That's like where Mesopotamia is, and there's portals there, stargates. That's what the war was about.
Mhm.
The war, the Iraq war with America. It was more so about, you know, Gilgamesh and giants and portals being opened up over there. That's really what that war was about, along with oil and monetary gain and things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Great War took place a lot, all over, and that's kind of, and you see this all over the place. When you look at steps in Egypt, they were actually melted from hot from war, you know, and things like that for sure. Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
so
that's a fact. That's a
yeah,
fact.
and disclosure is here, 100%, 100%.
And
Um, Now, another thing about disclosure is when it happens, how are we going to be prepared for it? What will really happen? What will it really look like? Well, initially, I was shown a while ago, like I was shown this like 2 years ago, that when it is disclosed, it will be two different ways. The one way it will be is that they present it in a way where they're attacking us so we can still side with the government,
mhm.
which I don't believe we're on that route, that trajectory anymore. And then another way I was shown was, they're going to come out, but they're still going to push the space narrative, you know, and
Mhm.
that's where we are now. I believe that's where we're headed. But you know, eventually things will come out like, okay, where are you guys coming from? How do you guys really get here? You know, when that
Yeah.
question comes out, it's going to be apparent like, okay, it's frequency based, guys, you know, and that's going to
Yeah.
elevate all of humanity. Once you understand the true structure of this reality and you understand you're in a creation separated by frequency, you start to question like, okay, who put us here? Who made this?
Yeah.
What exists outside of here? You know, and all of those questions, you start to really wake up. So I'm more, I can't wait for that to really happen, because other beings and stuff, we know they're here. People have been getting
Mhm.
abducted by aliens forever. People have been seeing them, contacting them forever. We know they're here, but
Coming out
I'm
the
more,
water.
yeah,
They
yeah,
they
yeah.
come
And
they
it's a good thing you said that, because I have seen that. This was another topic I wanted to get into, is where have you guys seen ETs? I have seen them beyond the ice wall as well as in the water here.
Mhm.
I'm not sure where do you guys
I seen
know
them in
that
the
they are
water.
here?
I know they in the they be on that ice wall. I've been telling people this for years when they be like, "Man, this aliens coming from another place." Nah, they already here. They
Mhm.
they here. They got they little setups wherever on the ice behind the ice. You remember William Byrd, the one that did the little trip? Um,
Yeah.
like this he had that story was told so long ago, but you know, every time somebody come out with something like that, they're gonna say they're crazy. Nah, he a little
Mhm.
crazy. Nah, he say he was flying and he started seeing grass and woolly mammoths and all kinds of shit, a dinosaur, a Pikachu. Nah, play, but they see all this stuff, but nobody believe it. Like this shit real. Like when you come out your body and you actually go and you see this shit, I mean see this stuff, you be like, man, like ain't no way this
Yeah.
ain't real. They in the water. They over there like they might be outside, but they travel interdimensionally. You know what I'm saying? So they could change the frequency and go to another dimension. You know what I'm saying? It just it's not like they coming from a far planet and just flying all the way over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I've
Exactly.
seen.
And oh, go ahead, Gene.
Oh, yeah, I saw ETs in the Himalayan mountains one time. It's like a air.
Mhm.
It's kind of like a kind of like an airport in a sense, because different beings would kind of just come. They'll like meet in the Himalayas and stuff like that, like just come in and out and stuff like that. And then you start looking at certain. You look at certain people that lived in the Himalayan mountains, and they mentioned that they encounter certain beings there and stuff like that. You know, so yeah,
Yeah.
that's real.
And yeah, and to touch on that a little bit, the Himalayan mountains, there certainly are portals and dimensional access points within this place. It has to do with the magnetic grid of this realm. And this is where all the pyramids are all over the world. Like in Egypt is a hot spot. Egypt is lined up with the Orion star system. That's where that
Mhm.
lines up with
Mhm.
that kingdom or that
Yep.
time, that realm. Now another one is in Atlanta.
Mm,
Atlanta lines up with what I believe is the Syrian star system.
mm,
Now there's pyramids all over the world, and when you go to these pyramids, a lot of them are inactive, but also some of them are still active. An active one is in the Bermuda Triangle. There's an
Mm,
active pyramid there. That's where they're flying. That's how that's why they disappear. Now, there's also some in the Himalayas. Now, you have to understand that mountains aren't necessarily what they say they are. They're not, because it's not because the plate tectonics pushed up and the crust of the earth raised up. A lot of these mountains are pyramids covered up that grow. This can be example of in South America. A lot of the pyramids there and in China had grass over them, and then once they dig them up, they're like, oh, this is a pyramid. A lot of
mm,
the mountains are actually cut down trees, because they cut down the trees, and when you cut down a big tree, it actually floods. Trees roots, if it's a big tree, it connects with the water source of the earth, and when you cut them down, it will actually flood things. There's a big pyramid, the biggest in the world, I want to say. I don't know this claim. I just actually found out about this myself. But in Java, close to where I am in Bali, there's a big pyramid there. It's
mhm.
huge. I'm going to be going there to check that out. Yeah, there's pyramids and hotspots all over. Now, in the Himalayas, also, there's this place called Shambhala, that it's
Hmm.
like another dimension. I heard Ryan Cropper talk about that once, and I actually tried to go there, and I did make it there. And it was kind of, now this was the experience where I was like, when I heard him speak, I kind of got to his like inferiority. This is nothing against him, but I wasn't in my ultimate authority, because I let somebody else's words influence me. And
Mm,
that was kind of that experience. But yeah, these places are very real, and as soon as you leave your body, you get to them and you see that, like, oh, they are very real. This is very real. And
mhm.
to touch on Fortify, when you said if you've seen a mantis being, and you was like, I might not see them. When you see any when you see any ET, even out of your body, the frequency is very strong.
Yeah,
Very strong. Now, and you instantly know you're in presence of something that's like not human, right?
yeah.
Now, it does give off like a scary type of feel. And I remember last year when I was in my apartment by myself, beings started to come like in the physical, and I was not ready for that. Like I was not ready for to see them in the physical. I was shook. I'm not even gonna lie, but um I do believe that once they bring them out in a way where they're like, okay, this is nothing to fear, it's okay. Once they bring it out in that way, I do believe it will be a little bit easier for us to approach them and be in their presence and things
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen some crazy stuff that I thought I would be scared of, but wasn't because when you be in the presence of, like I say, I'll be scared of a mantis being, but a lot of times when you see these beings, the energy they give off is going to change that. You know what I mean? You could
Hmm.
tell if it's like negative or if it's something that's positive, or if because they'll start talking to you like telepathically. So it's like, okay, oh, you cool? Because I was about to whoop on something the other day. Like, I was like, they acting a little weird, but then I felt the energy from them. I was like, okay, this is a good experience. This ain't something negative. And I was about to start trying to fight off in that thing. I, was- I, was- I was like, I don't be playing
Yeah.
about none of that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
All right. So aside from ETs, the races that we've seen, I've seen the Andromedans. I have seen human-like ETs. I have seen the Arcturians. I have seen the reptilians. Um, I have seen the Anunnaki. I have seen the Lyrans. I have seen. So these are beings that, like, I know 100% are real and that they exist. What are some of the other beings and races that you guys have seen, even if you don't know their names? Because a lot of their names aren't
man,
like what they're called. Yeah.
I've seen some
Yeah.
things I can't even describe. Like energy type beings, like just I remember I had this out of body experience, and it was just this energy flowing. This was a long time ago, and it was talking to me, and I'm like, what the hell is it? Like, what's going on? Like, and they was calling themselves Mayan Ka. I don't know what that means, but that's what they was calling themselves. They was like, we are the Makai
Mhm.
energy. And I was like, okay, whatever. She like, we're in everything. I'm like, okay. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm just in the experience, like, okay, I guess. I don't know what the hell is it, but it was a cool experience. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
that's a good example. When they say stuff, it's like their names are completely different than like what we're
yeah.
told here. Like Egypt is called something different, or Africa is
Mhm.
called something different. A lot of these races are called, and when you're in the experience, you're like, oh, okay, like I see, you know, and you like you
Mhm.
kind of resonate with it, and then when you come back, it's like, wait, what was that?
Yeah,
What
like, what the hell I
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
what
yeah.
the hell?
yeah, it's
Uh,
like that being I
uh,
told you that was spinning me around in a circle talking about astral projection. I was like, what the hell is that? Like, why is mother spinning me in a circle? That was when I was young. I didn't even know how to control it. I'm sitting there just laying there, just taking it, spinning in a circle. Like, man, astral projection. I'm like, hell no. I gotta wake up.
yeah, yeah, Genie,
But
what beings have you seen?
Yeah, so one that I've seen that I haven't seen like anybody talk about, I call them Zazmari. They have a different name for themselves, but essentially there's a star called Zazma, part of the Leo constellation, and I went there one time, and they're like these red beings. They have like dreadlocks. Some are bald though. Like the more feminine bodies have dreadlocks, the masculine ones are bald. When I say feminine bodies, I don't mean like gender, because like what I mean is that you could be like a man in a feminine body when it comes to them. And
yeah.
then vice versa. You could be a female in a masculine body. So the masculine bodies were bald. And they were more about, like, I noticed that their civilization was heavy about it's kind of like when you think about those masters of chi that could like do a punch, but like they're not actually hitting you, but their chi's hitting you. They do stuff like
Mhm.
that, and they could like walk on the air. So they could like essentially like make their power compress in the air and like walk on air and stuff like that. So they do really cool things like that. And the masculine ones are like all about like more of harnessing the power and how to express it better, and the female ones are kind of more about it's like this receptivity to power. Like instead of trying to build and express power, you're kind of just sensing power and letting like energy around you kind of carry you and move you. It's kind of like how Tao would say going with the tower, the Tao. You're kind of just feeling the energy and flowing with that. And when you flow with that, you kind of get power from that because you let this higher thing move through you in a sense. In a sense. Um. So yeah, Zazmari. That's what I call them because they come from Zazma. Um, I met mantis beings. Something I was with the ETs they mentioned is that they mentioned ETs that have a lot of duality in them, like reptilians. Some are good and bad. Nordic, some are good and bad. Like they're not mentioning
Mhm.
Arcturians and Andromedans, right? Which are
Yeah.
mainly more
Mhm.
benevolent because they're more advanced.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's on purpose, I think,
Mhm.
because you might start seeing some history come out like, oh, Mantis beings was taking DNA and Grizz was doing this, and like, yeah, that happened. But there's also really
Mhm.
cool Mantis
Put
beings, like,
fear in people still, yeah. They may
mhm.
still put fear in people, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just watch out for that because they're not like Mantis beings. They're actually some are like really cool. Like I met like these blue crystalline ones before.
Mm.
But one thing I noticed about the Mantis beings they taught me about was like I call it a like etheric DNA, in the sense that part of the reason why ETs can become physical and non-physical, or like more particle based versus like wave based, is because they're connected with, I'll just say, ether being the substance that turns waves into particles, right? So if you're a being that lives in realm 2, you're partially connected with like ether, which is inside of plane number 2. The realms and planes are actually very linked together. We might discuss that later. My point's the fact that when your body's more etheric based, you live in an in-between state of wave and particle. Right now, we're just stuck on particle. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
ETs to go from wave and particle. And there's actually DNA that lets them do this, which mantis beings are very good at manipulating and understanding. And that's why reptilians, more malevolent ones, would actually work with mantis beings to genetically engineer certain beings because they know how to do these things. So
Mhm.
if stuff like that comes out, yeah, there's some negative things surrounding certain beings, but like there's good and bad in a lot of these.
And
Yeah.
In the more lower
yeah.
ET races, there's good and bad. The higher ones, they tend to be mainly benevolent. I never met like a negative Arcturian, a negative Andromedan. I met like these octopus beings. They're like super duper advanced. They could like see in multiple, it's like they can see and exist inside of multiple dimensional spaces at once. We could do that too technically, but they're like naturally doing that. Like you
Mhm.
might be talking to them right here in front of them, but they're like having a conversation in some other space with like a
Mhm.
freaking Lyran or
Yeah.
something like that. They're really cool for sure.
And
That's
to
dope.
touch on some of the things that you were speaking about, octopuses that act like we are made in the image of a lot of these things. You guys have to understand.
Mhm.
Realm 1 is made in the image of realm 2. Realm 2 is made in the image of realm 3. Octopuses here are the most strangest alien type animals here. So it makes sense that the octopus beings that you've seen are more advanced, because the octopuses here in this realm are just a dumbed down version of that, but they are still actually quite like animals. And with the what you're talking about, when you said the mantis beings being able to manipulate their energy and things like that, we can do these things here as well. Our DNA has been shut down. We really have 12 strands of DNA right now. Only activated are 2, right? And as you activate more of your DNA strands, more of these abilities come online. And there's humans here that can do this. Today, I'm going to a man that mastered his chi. He can literally start fire with his hands, just with his hands. And I'm going to him. I went to him last week. He touched my neck, and he has to sit on a wet towel when he does this because the
Mhm.
electric flowing through him. But he can do this so effortlessly. He can look and laugh and talk to somebody else, but when he touches you, you feel it all
Yeah.
throughout your body. You be locking up and stuff, and he heals you. There's people here that can do
Yeah.
this, now, and we all can. Like if I sat there and practiced with my chi for,
Mhm.
he said it takes like 1 to 2 years of like doing this actively every day. You can do this as well. It's based off your intention and where you put your energy, because where your attention goes, energy flows. So if you really sat there and tried to, like, instead of me trying to leave my body and put my effort towards that, if I instead use that same level of energy and focus into unlocking something in my physical body, you can do that. And that's where you get some people here with these magnificent gifts and things. So anything that these beings are doing, we can actually do as well. These human bodies in their natural form were made to do these things. You see,
Mhm.
And they'll teach you how to do it too. That's why
Yeah.
yeah,
one beneficial thing about ETs is the fact that since ETs are like a bit more advanced than humans, they're still very close to humans. They could be a bit more relatable to you, opposed to some higher beings that are kind of like you can still talk to them and relate to them for sure. But like ETs could give you some really practical advice about how to do certain abilities that makes it really simple. Because like where I'm at in my life now, like I tell you, you could do anything, like any ability is literally possible, and like manipulating fire, I could do that type of stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like I can psychically like perceive a person's field and like past lives, all that. Like that stuff is not like this is going to
mm,
become very normal to people,
Yeah.
and working with ETs, they'll teach you like, yeah, this is actually really simple. Like you don't have to think that like we're
Mhm.
like these overly advanced beings. Like they'll tell you that themselves. Maybe some of them won't, but the ones that I interact with, like they're like, yeah, bro, you could do this, you could do that. Because I mean, a lot of people have been them before. Like being an ET is not that crazy. We've been so
Yeah.
many things before, like
yeah,
like
Yep.
we are
eternal.
like
Yeah,
literally
yeah,
being a human. You are composed of all
I was
creation inside of your vessel.
yeah.
that
We
is
have been
cool.
many things. We are eternal, and when
Yeah.
you think about this, we have been eternal. Like I don't remember one life that I've had on these 6 continents. Like as a human that we see, like I don't remember one life of mine as that. Every life I remember has been elsewhere.
Mm.
And when you talk about abilities coming online, the out of body experience unlocks these. It really does. When you talked about
Yeah.
tapping into people's fields and just seeing things, when I come back from a big out of body, it's like the veil is gone, and I
Mm.
can see things just by talking to them. I haven't seen people's past lives, but I can see things like connected here, like events connected, how everything's connected, future events, decisions. I can see how decisions play out. I can see potentials, futures and stuff. And I'm like, oh wow, this is cool. This must be how psychics are. Like
Yep.
how when
Hey,
they're
that
telling you your future and stuff. Like,
that makes
yeah, go ahead.
hey, that's real because when you start, it's like pattern recognition. I was telling somebody
Hmm.
about this because that's something that I got really good, like intuition and pattern recognition. It's like I can look at something and know what's about to happen just by it's like I just see the pattern in it. Like, okay, that's about to happen. but it's like
Mhm.
it strengthens after you start to open yourself up to these experiences. It's like you come back and you like, and they be wondering why you stay to yourself and you don't really vibe with a lot of people. It's because I got so much going on right here and so much going on out there. Like I gotta be to myself, and I can't be over. I can't even go in the grocery store. You start feeling people energy. You be like, damn, I gotta get up
Mhm.
out of here. I get what I need to get and I get out. Like I mean, I can't be around like
Yeah,
you gotta watch
yeah.
who you be around.
Yeah, and to touch on that sensitivity subject, I used to hear people oftentimes in the space like, "Oh, I'm really sensitive. I can't be around other people's energy and stuff." I never really thought I was or noticed it, but now as I look back, I am affected by people's energy. Like if I'm around somebody and and they're not happy or they're not sensing,
You start
like I
feeling.
feel that and I pick up on it, and then I'm like, "Oh wow, the whole vibe just changed," and things like that. Like, sensitivity is real,
Yep.
and once you wake up to these things, you start to notice them, for sure,
Yeah. I
for
dip off
sure.
on somebody real quick. Soon as they energy start affecting me, I'll be like, all right, I'm out. I'm gone.
I gotta get
I
back
don't
to
even
it.
stick, I don't stick around.
Yeah.
Uh,
So so Jeannie, you were talking about how, before this call, you were talking about how, oh, thank you, MK Vision. Appreciate that.
MK
Appreciate
Visions.
that, guys. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, guys, and we're all doing this, just to help you guys. Like this is not for us, this is, solely to help you guys. Um but so, Jeannie, you were speaking about the planes of existence. Now, if you guys don't understand the planes of existence, I brought Jeannie on Beyond the Veil, and he gave a whole presentation of the 12 planes of existence outside of here. And, because that's what it's about. Like, if I'm working on something and somebody else tells me, oh, I got this already mapped out and I trust them, like, okay, that's what we did. And he did a good job on the 12 planes of existence. And this construct at that as above, so below theme, it applies to everything. This construct is mirrored off of like the entirety of creation. That's part of why this creation is the greatest one ever. That aside, what this is the only place we can come to experience limitations. The design work that went into this creation is immense. This is like the most immaculate creation that we've ever been to. And so yeah, so if you want to get into some of the planes and how they correspond and what you've been able to find out, that'd be cool.
Got you, bro. So let me put up a picture for y'all real quick. This one right here. Oh, wait, can y'all not? Oh, I have to move this down and then you'll be able to see it now. All right. So this picture up here is a visual of the 12 planes. I've been showing it like this before. The names don't get too caught up on that all different kinds of names. I'm showing it like this because although you might see them layered, they're not always, they don't have to be like that. You can see it like this too, where like they're inside of each other and stuff like that. Now, when the planes were first manifesting, I was really just showing this, right? I've been showing this several times, but I actually understood it like way more this time, where they kind of start off like all together. Imagine a slinky, right? I wish I had a slinky because that was a good way to explain it. A slinky, you can have it all compressed at one, and you can stretch it down, and it looks like the stuff. It looks like this the part of the slinky at the bottom is separate from the top, but really all the planes come from one another. So what I mean is the fact that first you have source, right? You could say source, God, whatever you want to call it. I don't really care. That manifests plane number 12. Then from that plane, other planes get born. I'm saying this because when you talk about 12 realms, right? You could see it as I'm gonna use very base terminology. It's almost as if Earth, you're seeing Earth when it was in plane 12, plane 11, because when the planes are manifesting, everything was all one at first. If source is all one, that means that source is partly physical. And right now we're seeing the physical manifestation of that right here, right now. But at one point that was all together, all one, which means that even what we call Earth was a part of the higher planes at one point. So it got separated further and further down. So this is why, like I mentioned with ETs, they're inside of realm 2. That's like Earth or the physical plane when it was one with the etheric plane. So ETs are a bit more etheric based. They're inside of that wave particle state all the time. The Egyptians, what we call the Egyptians, inside realm 3. that's when you could say Earth was literally in the astral plane. It's like the physical plane, the etheric plane, the astral plane, they were all one plane. And that's why it's like they lived in the astral. They could leave their body so fast. They had access to the whole entire electromagnetic field, because if you don't know, the astral plane is like a field of light, and scientists call it the electromagnetic field. When you can access the whole entire field of light, you could actually see all these different beings. You can access all this kind of information. That's why they were so advanced. The Egyptians, they had access to the whole field. They actually lived inside that field simultaneously while being physically. So to keep it simple, when you look at like the 12 realms, that's like, you could say, and I'm saying this very vaguely, it's like 12 different time periods of Earth, when Earth was in plane 12, Earth was in plane 11, it was in plane 10, plane 9, etc. And those give you the 12 realms inside the physical plane.
Oh,
so that's what I was kind of being shown.
Okay, we're good. Never mind. You were echoing for a little bit, but we good. Oh, Prop. you in the stream, Prop. Get out the stream. Prop.
Prop just laid back like. Hey, that's dope though. That's why I like GenieDot, because he break down all that, like that stuff. I be like watching it like, damn, that's dope as hell, because it's like stuff I see, but I don't know the name.
But then you got to be able to put it together and package it right.
So when he's talking about it, I'm like, damn, I seen that. Like, okay, that's what it's called. Like,
and the planes of existence is legit, because when he first put me on to that, Genie first put me on to the planes of existence. I remember we were having a conversation. And I was like, oh, okay. And then that started to click for me, because outside of here, I've been in places outside of the construct where I just seen energetic like light beings, and it was like a collection of things, and that would exist on plane 7 or 8. And I've been in the void, and I've experienced from the beginning to the end. And what I've came to understand was that I was surfing through the planes of existence. First, I became aware. And exactly what I experienced is exactly the 12 planes of existence. I experienced becoming aware. Then I had thoughts and feelings. And then I was like, okay, I want to do something with this. And then I birthed light. And then I was literally remembering the planes of existence from start to end. And that was crazy. And now inside of this creation, this creation exists on one of these planes of existence, and then inside of here other planes of existence exist. An example of this is the mental, physical, and astral plane. And like you said, don't get too caught up on the names, because names, when you hear a name, it gives you a predisposition of like what that is or what it is. So don't get caught up on the names. Just know that they are, and they do exist. And right now we exist on the mental, physical, and astral plane with inside of here. And when he's saying that the ancient Egyptian time period was open up to it was more connected to the astral plane. I forget the exact terminology you use, but it is, because now what he's getting into is this construct is based off of realms, templates, and programming. This is why I used a video game analogy to explain this. And every realm has different templates and different programming inside of it. Now, an example in realm 3 is things were more opened up, and Genie's getting into exactly, okay, how was it more opened up? Well, it's because they had more access to these things. It was just in the template and in the programming of that realm. And then here, where we are now in realm 1, is the most constricted place. This has the most limitations, the most restriction to the access of the light spectrum. Now, this is why I draw the realms in this rainbow like structure, because it shows that this realm is layered, that this universe is layered. But then it also shows in the middle, if the middle is the smallest amount of frequency, and as you go out on either side, as the frequency rises, each realm has more access to the light spectrum. So it's twofold as to why I draw that. Maybe I'll do a video explaining that, but I hope that makes sense. So as you go in the realms, you actually get more and more access to the light spectrum, and the quite literally the template and the framework of that realm is different. And that's what he's starting to get into.
Yeah. Now, to make it simple for y'all, also think about people say like, oh, 5D Earth is gonna be like heaven. What's realm 5? Heaven, right? That's because realm 5 is when Earth is, you could say Earth was you could say there's a period of time when Earth was in plane five. Plane five deals with the soul. That's where like the soul starts to form itself. And what do souls do? They begin to create and express the creativity. What do people do in heaven? Express all their desires. It's literally
Yeah.
just, although plane five might not be seen as the physical plane, there's a physical layer to plane five, which is realm five. That's why when you're in this physical construct, you have these different realms, because physicality, you could say, existed on these higher planes, but it just seems a bit more separate now. But really, when you explore the realms, realm five, you're literally, it's like you're on Earth, but if Earth was in plane five. People keep saying 5D Earth, that's what it would kind of be like. So that's why people say these different things. Of course, people define terms in all different kinds of ways. That's why I like to kind of define my
Mhm.
terms a certain kind of way, a silly circle. You know how I get. So yeah, I'll kind of just leave out with that right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and when people say like 5D and things like that, it's because they're getting messages from the other side, but they don't truly know where to put it. And
Yeah.
this is where messages come through kind of convoluted. Like, okay, and it may be misinterpreted or mispresented, and that's what I try to do when I'm leaving my body, is understand these things and make it make sense for people that's in alignment with the truth. Like, okay, it actually is like this, and this is really what it means. And another example of this is when channelers are coming through. Channeling, they're trying to present so much information, and some of the words and terminology that they use to present this stuff throws you off. Like Dolores Cannon, she was talking a lot about the backdrop people and rendering and things like that. Well, it's not really that, but it's kind of close.
Mhm.
So terminology is kind of important, and as we know, words are spells. That's why it's called spelling. You see, so
Yeah.
like you got to be careful when you use certain words and things like that. But yeah, it's
And
very
I'll
very
I'll
true. It's
add some to that too, because when learning about channeling, right, from certain beings, information will be distorted because you have a being that's trying to talk to you through your own filters. So if you already
Mhm.
Mhm,
think a certain kind of way, it's
They
coming
gon'
through how you think. You're gonna distort
mhm,
it every single time. That's why when you leave your body, it could be a bit more accurate. But even then, you got to make sure that you're not like trying to have any preconceived notions of what you should see. There's been
mhm,
times where I've like, if I want to get like real deep, I'm like, okay, let me just blank my mind out. Let me just like void myself, and then like have like let me stop trying to be genie. I'm gonna just be my awareness, just observe what's actually there, see things how they actually are. Because most channelers are
Mhm.
not like, although they could like, you could kind of say they kind of aren't there, like they kind of blink themselves out to let the entity come through. The entity is coming through their own filters. They're speaking how this person sees reality and stuff like that, which might not always be true. So if somebody thinks that a dimension, which if we actually just look up the word dimension, it's not like a place, right? Dimensional spaces are places, spaces made of
Mhm.
dimensions, right? But like an actual dimension is a measurement, like length, width, and height. But if you think that
mhm,
dimensions are the same as like realms, then when someone's talking about realms, you're going to hear dimensions inside of your head, you know?
Yeah.
And that's
mhm.
why it's like I'll focus on my words, but also when talking to certain people, you have to kind of go beyond the words to kind of feel the essence behind it, then make sense of it for yourself. Because the words that I use
Mhm.
might not resonate for you,
Use
and
your
that's
own
fine.
Mhm.
discernment.
Yep.
If
Yeah.
you could get the energy behind my words, that's the most important part, the actual intent of what's trying to come through. But when you start to get more logical, you start trying to form your intent to match your words. Just not everybody
Yeah.
does that, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
And language is very primitive for that reason, because when you use a certain word, it puts you in a certain frame of mind, certain frame of reference. When you have words that mean certain things, and it's very limited to be able to express yourself. This is why the out of body experience oftentimes is symbolic. You'll just see images or things presented to you in a certain way. An example of this is the Great Awakening is often presented to us as a big wave.
Yeah.
Now, a wave is symbolic. Does it have to mean that it's going to be a literal wave coming? No, but it's just symbolic, right? It's just
Yeah.
symbolism. And that's more so how we speak. This is why, as you go back in time, we use more symbols to communicate. You see,
Mhm.
because symbols gives you more room to understand something, where words put you in a particular box. So
Yeah.
this is very hard to do. And that's why a lot of messages come through distorted and things like that. And that's why the out of body experience is so great, because once you're able to leave your body, you're out. You're not thinking with these five senses. Your brain does.
Yeah.
You don't need your brain to compute information when you're on the other side. You don't need your ears to hear. You still hear. You still think, but you don't
Mhm.
need the physical body to process these things. You see, so
Yeah.
information is able to come through a lot more real.
Oh yeah,
Um,
for sure.
yeah. So let's get into
Oh, goodness.
what are some recent before we get into a Q&A and stuff, what are some recent experiences you guys have been having, if you've had any?
Shemaz was the heaven, the one I was talking about earlier. But it taught me something. I think I talked about it on one of my lives on the other one. But I was in like it wasn't the hood, but it was like a normal neighborhood where I came out my body. It was like in a house. And you know how normally when you come out of body, like, well, when I was younger, when I used to come out my body, I used to always come out and I would be inside of a house that was like that I grew up in. You know what I'm saying? But this time I came out in a house that I didn't recognize with people that I didn't even know. But when I was there, I knew who they were. So I'm just walking around talking to these people. We having a regular, cool little time. And I'm like, I got a little bored. So I'm like, let me walk down the street because I'm in an out of body. If you know, like, if you had an out of body, you know, your mind be like, this is some crazy, whatever, you know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna cuss, but this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in an out of body. Let me explore. So I'll go down the street and I'm walking. I'm like, dang, this is crazy. This is like they live in a real life. I start walking down the street. I see this mall, so I go to the mall, and I when I get to the mall, I didn't go inside the mall. I just was standing outside, and this dude started talking to me, like three dudes. We just having a regular conversation. He started telling me about his problems and stuff, and I'm giving him advice and this and that. And then he like, I shake his hand, and I'm like, all right, I'll see you later. And he shake my hand. I'm like, I'm about to turn around and go back to where I was at, and he like holding my hand, and I'm like, oh, in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm about to put hands on him because he holding my hand. Like I'm thinking negative. So I said, man, why I'm tripping? He said, no, I mean, come to my house. Like he said, come to my house. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, down my head, I'm like, okay, I can whoop them if I want to. So I'm gonna go to their house anyway. So I went to the house. I wanted to see what was going on. I get to the house, and when I get to the house, um, when I get to the house, it's like a normal house, and oh, I just read my bad. I went to a normal
Mhm.
house, and they was chilling in there. This girl walks in. She like, I'm in the house, and the dudes left me. They was supposed to be. They tell me to come to the house, but they left me, and I just sit down in a chair on the little sofa, and she like, why you sit right there? And I'm like, it's a chair. Like, and we just started having a conversation. Got bored again, so I walk out the house. It's some people outside fighting. And usually I would be like, I want to watch it, like, says to watch it. So I was like, nah, I ain't got no time for no negative shit. So I just walk off. I start walking down the street. As soon as I start walking down the street, it was like the sun just came out. It was just like boom. I'm like, what is it? I turned back. The house I was just looking at ain't the house I'm seeing. It's like a big old mansion, bunch of big mansions, and then the grass is tall, green with these like rose looking flowers in them and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a
That
bunch
sounds
of
like heaven.
yeah, and it's a bunch of kids. They start popping their head up, and the girl said, told the other kids, they said, embrace him. And I'm like, what? I'm thinking a whole bunch of kids about that. They start all coming towards me. I'm like, what the hell going on? So one of the kids kind of latched on to me. He was just kind of kicking it with me. And we just walking and stuff. I started asking him, I asked him, like, where we at? He like, heaven. And then I'm like, you like it here? And he like, yeah, but I can't wait to go where you are. And I was like, what? Like, what you mean? Like, you want to go where I'm at? Nah, you might want to stay here. You might want to stay here, buddy. Like, we walking around. Then we go to the grass. I see the rose. My curiosity kicked in, and I wanted to pick the rose. So I picked the rose up. As soon as I picked the rose out the ground, my mind went to this is a conscious living thing. Like, and I was like, oh shit. Like, so I put the rose back. And that's like a
Yeah.
suck. It went into the ground. I was like, what the hell just happened? And like it was mad at me or something. Like, nigga, you gonna pick me out the ground. But I started walking through the grass. We go past a barrier, and then next you know it's like storm clouds everywhere. And the kids still following me. And I'm like, okay. But soon as I got to that past that barrier, I started remembering that whole place. having memories of being there. And I'm like, how do I have
Mhm.
memories of this place and I don't remember
Mhm.
being here? So I'm having all these memories. And then as soon as I had the memory, I said, oh, I shouldn't be across this barrier. And I seen this dark energy like clouds and stuff and this dark energy. And we had these buttons on our abdomen, like on our stomach. And I knew push the button. I pushed the button on me. This whole suit just came on me. And I'm like, why I need a suit? But I grabbed the kid and I pushed the button on his, and the whole suit came over him. I'm like, I don't know why we need the suit, but hey, I started dragging him back. I started carrying him back to where we was at, where it was sunny and shit. We get back past the barrier, and I'm like, what the, like, how do I have these memories of being here? I'm like, so I must have been one
Mhm.
of these kids at one point. I don't know, but I woke up after
Mhm.
that. But that was my latest experience that I.
That's amazing, man. And yeah, that does sound like heaven when you start to see those things. But I find it funny that you've seen. It might be another space in there that you've seen kids. Because majority of the time when I'm there, I had never seen kids. People just present themselves because you're outside of birth and death. But
Yeah,
maybe you're seeing them because that's before they come here. Like
yeah,
maybe that's a place like before where some souls go before they come here, just gearing up
He
for it.
did
that's
So
say,
what
I
I was
that
can't
makes
wait to
thinking.
be here. He
Yeah,
did
that's
say,
what I.
I can't wait to
yeah,
come where you at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
that's what had me
That
like,
makes
"What?"
sense.
Like, you can't wait to come
And
here.
yeah, and when you say you have your memories start to come back, like they
Yeah,
do, your
they start.
memories, your soul's memory comes back, and at the time, it's like you don't remember exactly where it
Mhm.
comes from, but you just you know these people or you know this
Yep.
place. Yeah, but it's not like you remember everything from it, but it's like
Yeah.
you remember. Yeah,
Right.
it starts to come back. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the trippy part right there. 'Cause I had
yeah.
I don't know if it was one of y'all that said something about it, but somebody was talking about dimensional spaces and how you could be in a place that's like a buffer, it's almost like a lower vibration, but when you change your frequency, it changes into like a higher vibration, like heaven, basically. It just say heaven.
Hmm.
It's like what I learned from that is like because I didn't let the negative thoughts influence me when I was going to these places that he was taking me and stuff. It's like the energy shifted. Like it was like boom. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know if I'm making sense,
Hmm.
but it's like the
Hmm.
energy shifted in the vibrational. I was no longer in that. I would consider that like a lower place, but it just wasn't like bad like some of them other places. But
Yeah, there's other frequency bands with inside places and dimensional spaces. There are layers inside the realms too. So this creation is layered, and then inside of these layers, there's other layers as well, like kind of like dimensional spaces, and there's frequency based things. Yeah, that is very true. That is very true.
Mhm.
But yeah, man.
Yeah.
So, what about you, Jeannie? You got anything that you've been to recently?
My most recent one was actually last night, but it was very short lived. I didn't even get. I was so I went to sleep like I might leave tonight. Let's see what happens because like I'm at a state now where I've been doing certain practices to like condition myself because I've been getting like really back into it again after actually not that long. I had a recent experience also like a few weeks ago. But anyway, um, so I went to sleep, got up, used the bathroom, came back, went to sleep again. At some point I wake up like I was in a dream, but then I'm like, oh, I'm dreaming. I'm gonna leave my body real quick, right? So I'm starting to do it. I'm on my back. I'm like, oh yeah, we coming out. I hear my girl's phone alarm go off. I'm like, no, bro. I'm trying to ignore that. Didn't work. That joint woke me right up. But when I woke up, no phone, there is no phone alarm, bro. My mind just made that up as I was leaving. That made me upset. But a better experience,
Hmm.
I'm gonna mention two more. One of them, I had popped out of body, and it was like a very short one, but it gave me some real deep insight. Where I walked into, I walked to my old house in New Jersey, and I walked inside of this back room with all these pictures, right? And sometimes, like I could project my own energy onto a picture, and it shows me something back about myself, or I could have beings talk to the picture. I just want to see more about myself, right? Walked inside the room, I saw Majin Buu like on these cards. I'm like, Majin Buu, I don't even like Majin Buu. Like, why is this my energy right now? You know what I'm saying? Like, why am I being shown as Majin Buu? I'm not no Majin Buu, but as I did so, as I came back, I'm like, this is so perfect. Because Majin Buu's character is really symbolic, you know, like when he's like a little kid. I don't watch Dragon Ball Z like that, but from what I looked up, he as a kid, he's very destructive and chaotic and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? You know, he's just tripping. Then he becomes like the big fat version that we all know. He's very innocent, but he's not like in control of himself. He kind of just explodes. Then you have his more evil side that's just purely evil. Then you have when he kind of controls that in the sense that like he controls his chaotic energy, but in a very egotistical way. And then the last form I was shown on my body that was like some more advanced, like after you master the ego power form. Long story short, it was show me the progression of the energy that all humans have inside them. We all like inside of your being. There's all kinds of energies, and some of them could be really chaotic and primal when not being controlled. Now, at that period of time, I was doing some very specific energy work in order to manipulate flames and move stuff with telekinesis and stuff like that, right? So when I had that experience, I was like, oh, I need to whatever that energy like that picture was symbolizing this energy inside of me that I need to master in different kinds of ways. It's kind of like the Majin Buu progressions. So as I was doing that, I was able to actually do more things with my energy. Even I was just on the phone with my boys, like, yo, your skin look mad clear. I'm like, yeah, bro. I with the certain practice, your skin just get mad clear. Like, even if I eat like some BS, I just process it quick and then my skin is good. But I try not to eat no BS anyway. I'm like a fruit veggies guy. But anyway,
you do sometimes. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes
yeah, and then also my body weight, like I look kind of skinny, but I promise you, if I took this, I'm a little swole, you know what I'm saying? And I was able to get like stronger fast because I understood the energy. Like I was able to like, although like I don't got no name for it, but I could feel it. I'm like, yo, this inside of me feels like what Majin Buu would feel like. So there was that cool thing about myself. The last cool thing that you guys are probably gonna like is when I didn't like try to come out. I just ended up like, I guess I just ended up being in a space. I'm like, oh, like I'm conscious. I'm like, is this a dream? Well, let's find out some things, right? But as I'm aware, I'm already in this classroom and they're showing me essentially dimensions. But they're showing them to me in like different, like in like shapes, but also like looking at perspectives of the shape, like looking at the shape from this angle, and how the shape changes and stuff like that, and how dimensions are like I got the term dimensional perspectives from this. How when you understand dimensions, you get different viewpoints of reality. So dimensions, when you look it up on Google, it means a dimensional extent of some kind, length, width, height. Those are dimensions. But I also learned that things like time, well, scientists know that time's a dimension, right? So is light. You can measure light. See a measurable extent. Let's make it a bit more simple. Dimensions make up reality. These are measurable things that make up reality. And your body has length, width, height, but there's also a sense of time, sense of space, and sense of light. There's also intelligence, willpower, and awareness. And these make other smaller dimensions, different things that make who you are, which you can measure. And you can actually view creation from different dimensions. For example, if I look at this cup right here, I could look at the length of it versus its width versus its circumference. You could look at all these different perspectives. We could also look at things through time. So you can look at how something will progress through time. When people talk about shadow work, you're looking at yourself from a perspective of lights because you are illuminating what's hidden inside of yourself. When we talk about intuition, that comes from a dimension of intelligence. Intelligence is measured by how much something knows. It's a measurable extent. It's something which makes reality, which you can actually measure. You can measure time by duration and speed. You measure light by luminosity, space by the area that the space actually has. You measure intelligence by the knowledge of something, right? So intelligence, there's three other smaller dimensions in intelligence, such as intuition, intellect, and instinct. Intuition comes from a direct insight. You kind of just perceive into this thing with beyond words and thought. Intellect is thought-based. You're thinking about conclusions. Instinct is more like it comes from your memory. Because you've done something before, you get these instincts that tell you to do certain things. Three different kinds of intelligence. So my point is the fact that I was being shown dimensions in like these different kinds of ways. And when I came back to my body, I'm like, yo, I actually understood that. And they were even showing me like a human body. And like it's hard to describe this stuff, bro. You be out of your body. I think you probably know what I mean. How hard to describe, but it's like they're showing me diagrams of a human and how a human is composed of just all these different things. So when we say multidimensional, right? Most people think that, oh, we're multidimensional. We live inside of many places at once. But it's more about the fact that you are made of many dimensions. You are made of several different aspects which you can measure. And when you even express different parts of yourself, that's one dimension of yourself. You literally, the way that you interact with people, like the way that you can interact differently with certain kinds of people, that literally shows that you have different dimensions of yourself. A certain part of yourself knows certain information, it will express that versus another part. But I'm talking to y'all about some OBE side. Let me like throw crack, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But
I was wondering if you see that.
yeah. I'm like, oh, that's why they laughing. Probably, yeah. But see, when I'm talking, I'm gonna end this up really shortly. When I talk to y'all, I'm like on like some OBE, whatever the heck, right? With my girlfriend, I'm just an amazing boyfriend. I'm just a lover, different dimensions of myself that have different kinds of intelligence and will, and they operate through time differently, and they operate from different points of light. Also.
It says I'm just
right
a
now,
lover.
I'm illuminating certain information.
I'm just an amazing boyfriend. I'm just a lover. He got the smooth, genuine talk.
Yeah, I'm just like, just a lover. You know what time it is. I'm just a lover,
different dimensions of myself, though.
Yeah,
that's what I was learning about. That's what I was learning about. Right now I'm being I'm illuminating wisdom about reality with my girlfriend. I illuminate love and healthy desire. So
yeah, that's amazing. And when we say we're multidimensional beings, that's really what we are. There's so many different assets to us from all of our experiences. There's so many dimensions. Like I was talking to Forfire on our live. I'm like, we were talking about some people that how they get stuck in the lower realms because they like hood like stuff. They like stuff. I was like, I like some of that stuff too. Like just the other night, I was listening to, some old music that I used to listen to when I was younger, and I was really feeling it. You know what I mean? And then, but also in the same essence, I like knowledge. Like, so I like, there's different parts of you. You can be, you're multidimensional, so don't shut down one part because you feel like you have to be this, embrace all of you. And that's why oftentimes we have these urges and things. It's because we're shutting down a part of ourself. And then it comes, it manifests in the form of an urge or something to do, a lot of times. Yeah.
That's perfect. What you said about, because a lot of people don't, they think being spiritual, all right, they like, oh, I need to be spiritual, so I gotta act spiritual, so I gotta start changing up who I am and act like I'm perfect. I'm the first one to tell you, like, I ain't perfect. Shit, I still come.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't want you to see me out in public and see me doing some crazy shit, smoking a blunt with some gang members, and then you be like, I thought he was spiritual. You're like, I am, man. I just got friends.
I am, man. I just got friends. Yeah, man. It's like that.
You got to be yourself. You got to be yourself at all times.
That's why when I first came out, I was talking to people. I had my hats on. My friend makes hats. I was wearing all those fitteds. I was coming out with my grill in my mouth. Like, hey,
I got me a little grill. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I like gold and stuff. It's part from my realm 3, my ancient Egyptian time period. That's what we like, gold and stuff. You know what I mean? Like, we like that stuff. Yeah.
Actually, I'm curious about gold real quick. I actually learned this out of too. Mainly from, I learned this. So Lyrans have this ability called the Lyran spirit. It's like they can access their spirit and draw certain power from it. We all could do that though, right? The golden one kind of empowers their will completely. And I was being shown like in other spirits that like gold was used to like essentially, if you were wearing gold, it would empower your frequency so much. It's like you're literally embodying divine essence in your body. And I noticed that when I go to like plane 9, divine plane, it's a lot of gold there because it's like, it's kind of not even just a symbol. It's literally, how can I put this?
You said like, plane 9 is a divine plane?
Yeah, like where they have like the divine template of creation. So there's like this giant.
That's crazy because realm 9 is the godly template.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You see, so,
everything is connected. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like I need to be, so like I said, the golden line of spirit, when you have that, your spirit is fully coming down into your body and fully expressing itself through your will. There's something like silver though, also that kind of is the opposite. It's like you transcend self to merge with your spirit, but gold brings things back down. So when people are wearing gold and stuff like that, it can help them to charge their field and bring energy inside their vessel and express it better inside the world. I learned that about gold through OBEs
Pure
also.
gold.
That's dope.
Copper is another good thing as well. Copper helps you connect with the
Yeah.
electromagnetism of this place. Like if you go, that's copper right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you put your water through copper, like
Yeah.
it will purify
Sure.
your water and
Sure
things like
did.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So to touch on, you guys shared some of your recent experiences. I'll share some of mine. So, like 2 or 3 days ago, I'm more like servicing others now, like just trying to help others. And I understand that, you know, leaving your body, the number one thing that stops people is fear. So I was like, all right, well, let me try to develop a method to leave during the day, right? Like just leave during the day. Now I've left during the day, you know, pretty recently since I've been in Bali. That's when I leave. But I was trying to document, like, okay, what do I do during the day? If I wake up at this time, how many hours, you know, just trying to document everything. And I was practicing. I wake up at like 5 or 6 in the morning. I do some work, have cups of coffee. This particular day, I had too many cups of coffee, though. I had like 3 or 4 cups as I was working. I was working on my presentation, my alchemy presentation. I was just in the zone having coffee. And then I'm like, all right, now let me go try to leave my body, which was stupid. But anyways, I'm trying to leave my body. And I do it in like 45 minutes to an hour. I'm just laying still. You know, you get the itch, you bypass that. If you stay relaxed and calm, you can leave pretty quickly. I've been able to do that. Now, in this, yeah, but in this particular state, I got out. Like all right, so I'm laying down, and then instantly, I feel my legs start to like separate and like float out, and somebody started pulling my left leg, trying to help me out. And I'm like, all right, cool. So let's get out. But I was stuck still because I couldn't relax enough because I had 3 or 4 cups of coffee earlier. So I couldn't relax. So like my field was still strong and my chest and my head was still connected. And this being was pulling on my left leg. I'm like, well, pull on my right one. Like, come on, like pull on my right one. Like, let's go.
Yeah.
I started calling. And then I was like, all right. I was like, let me think of a rope, right? I tried to manifest a rope. Nothing was happening. I'm like, damn, let me just envision myself floating up. Nothing was happening. I really couldn't relax enough. So then I started calling on everybody. I was calling on my mom to come help me out. I was calling on Francis. I was calling on everybody. Like, yo, help me get out.
Help me, please.
And I was in this state, just floating above my body. I was just floating above my body. It felt like I was there for like 30 minutes, like a long time. And then afterwards, when I came back from that, I was only listening to like an hour track of binaural beats, and they were still going when I came back. So like I know everything happened underneath an hour, but it felt like a long time when I was in that state, just trying to get out. So I never really made it out. I was just kind of floating around, just trying different things, but I couldn't relax enough because of the coffee. And then, so that was my last time I've tried. And then like a week or 2 weeks ago, I tried again, and it was the same thing, you know, during the day. I was up for a couple hours, and then I tried to leave. And was this during the day or was this at night? I don't even remember. But what happened was I was out, and I'm out. Same thing. My head was the last thing to get disconnected. So I'm out. I pull myself out. I'm on the front of my bed, right? My head is still stuck. I'm like, damn, man, why is my head stuck? You know? So I'm like, all right. So I'm sitting there on the bed, trying to relax, trying to get my head out. And I hear this being come in through the door behind me, and I'm like, fuck. I'm like, damn, now somebody's coming. I'm sitting here stuck. Like, damn, you know what I mean? Like it could be anything, you know what I mean? Like, you got to be ready. And when you're in a very, very vulnerable state, when you're in sleep paralysis or you're stuck, can't really move, you're in a vulnerable state. But I'm like, damn, this motherfucker. I'm like, damn, who is this? But I just stayed through it. I was like, nah, I'm my ultimate authority. You know, like I'm gonna go through it. So I go through it, and he actually comes, grabs my hand, and I'm out. And I'm like, whew, finally, like I'm out. I'm fully out. And you know what I mean? I charge up real quick, and then we go through the door. And as soon as I'm in the door, I'm in this other place, which is like realm 3. I was in this, as soon as I was there, I was like in this huge place. like if you can imagine like a palace or a temple, like, and I'm walking on an aisle. There's an aisle and there's water on either side of me. Like it was very beautiful. And like there was a wall to the right of me with like symbols on it and stuff. And then to the left, there was just like an open view of like trees and lush land and stuff. And there
Oh,
was water on
heaven.
either side of me. And I looked to the front and there's this throne and there's 2 to 3 beings on either side of the throne, and they were huge compared to the throne, right? These would be like
Yeah.
the Anunnaki, right? Like,
Mhm.
and so I'm walking there and they tell me a message, because I was seeking, guidance, because there's all this talk going out, like, and things were weighing heavy on my soul as I kind of diverged from one group or cult like following as I emerged from there. And I was trying to get some insights into it. And they did. They told me, things like one man's mission is not the mission, continue the path, continue all of these things that was weighing heavy on me, that like I needed to hear from
Mm.
somebody out other than myself,
Yeah.
and then after that, they take me to see some other things, because I also set my intention to access. I wanted to know all things, like, pretty crazy, right? To just be like, I want to know all things. So they take me out, and then that's when the it started to like fade out, and like I started to come back because it was just like too much information. It was just like too much for me. But
Mhm.
yeah, that was my last experiences. Now I'm more so just trying to come up with and help other people leave, like come up with techniques and things that help other people leave, and show them and get them out of fear and things like that. So that's more so what I'm doing and what I'm working on. But
Question.
yeah.
Have either of you had an experience where when you came out your body, you was with a totally different family? Like you had a different woman, some kids,
Actually, yeah.
and all that stuff, and you be like, "What the hell is this?" Like, have y'all experience like that?
Bro, one of my first experiences when I was like still a teenager, yo. I had left my body, but I ended up being like in like a hood. I'm like, this like cause me, like I used to live in the hood, but like at the time I was in the suburbs, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, but I'm in the hood. I'm like, what? And this is a house. This is my house, but it's not my house. But I go inside there. I got a mom smoking a cigarette. I'm like, smoking a cig. My mom would never smoke a cig. I'm like, smoking a cig.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on
Yeah.
here? I'm like, yo, maybe I did this wrong, because like this back that I ain't know much about OBs. I'm just like, yo, I'm out, I'm trying. So I'm like, yo, I had to have did this wrong. Because what do you mean? Like, my mom smoking cigs. I'm in the hood, bro. I got like these ratchet friends. I'm like, nah, bro, this ain't where I'm from. So I just went back to my body after that. But yeah, there's something like that happened for sure before.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
I
for me, it's more. I had a lot of background, so like I had a lot of help when I was leaving. So like I kind of already knew where I was going and stuff, and like
Oh,
how
yeah.
to navigate. Like so when I, but I the only time I've experienced different things like that was I was actually set up. My spirit guide Francis, he was like, I was in another body. I was accessing soul records, and then I went and I experienced 3 different wives of mine, 3 different lives. I had 3 different sets of kids. And but one thing that tripped me out, I don't know if I've ever said this publicly, but one thing that tripped me out was I think I killed one of my kids on accident.
Oh,
Like I
damn.
think I was driving. I think we was driving. I
Oh,
was driving and we got in an accident, and and I ended up killing one of my daughters, because then I remember being in the scene and my wife was there and her mom was there, and they were just crying hysterically, like, oh, what
damn.
happened? And I'm like, and I was in the experience. I'm like, where's our daughter? And I had no memory. My
Yeah.
memory was wiped from the accident. Like I had just came out of a concussion, and I'm like, what's going
Mhm.
on? Where's I forget my daughter's name, but I was like, where's my daughter? And my wife's mom just broke down and was like, she's dead, and was like
Mm.
freaking
Oh,
out. And I
damn.
was like, oh damn, that was crazy. I was like,
That
damn, man, like what happened? Yeah.
Those experiences be a trip. I had one where,
Mm-hmm.
when I'll come out now, at this time, I was living in the hood, so, my environment wasn't good. So, I come out my body when I come out my body, I wake up like, this is when I was younger, so I like when I used to come out my body, it was on I wasn't trying to, so it'd be like, I would wake up sometimes and be like, "What the fuck? Like, where am I at? Like, hold up, I'm laying in a different bed. I just came out in a different room." Now look, I'm like, okay, this room look nice. I go downstairs. I'm like trying to investigate. I see this girl sitting on the couch doing the little girl's hair, and I'm like, hold up. what's going on in here? So I walk past, and I didn't know who they were, so I'm in the out of body. So I go past, and I'm just trying to act normal, like I'm finna go outside real quick, so I can just look at them. Like, she doing her hair. And I see little twin girls. I'm like, what the heck? So I go outside, and I go to the backyard, and I'm like, okay, I need to see if this is. Am I tripping? Is this a dream? Like, I go in the back, and I see a trampoline. I go get on top of it, and I fold my arms, and I just fall back. Boom. When I get up, the little girl walked outside. She looking at me like, "What you doing? Like, why you fall on the ground like that?" And I'm like, I'm sitting looking at her. I just said, "Wow!" Hit the ground hard. I get up and I grab her and I pick her up, and I'm just looking at her like this, like dead in her eyes, like what the hell? Like, she looked like me, like, and I'm like, but she was light skinned with curly hair. And I seen the other little girl walk out there, and I'm sitting there like, what the hell? I got kids. The lady in there, I'm like, this is crazy. One, I had 5 kids. I was like, hell no.
Yeah.
I was out
I
there.
remember when I was first leaving my body, I was so scared to see past lives. I was like, what if I don't like my life or something? Like, what if I was somebody bad?
Yeah, a crackhead.
Like, yeah, I was like, damn. I was like, I don't know if I want to see this, right? I was like, I used to. That was my big fear. It was like,
I got
$2
for you.
and I find out I don't really like myself, right? Right.
As soon as you come out, you got a needle like this.
Yeah,
he about to shoot up.
Well, I will say that those things don't happen. If anybody else feels like that, it doesn't really happen. Even if you do see something that like you don't really like, it's kind of like, well, damn, like, all right, like, okay, it's really like you're just seeing yourself in another life or like another video game or something.
Yeah,
you know, so it's not too bad. So don't worry about that if anybody has fear on that. Honestly, everything in the out of body experience is honestly pleasant. Even if I remember, even when I did run into like Michael Myers or Freddie Jackson or Freddie Krueger
Freddie
and
Jackson.
like that. Freddie Jackson's scary. He's scary too. But even when I did run
Freddie Jackson,
after that, when you come back to your body, it's just like, oh, why was I so scared and things like that.
That does happen so many times, bro. Yeah. I'm like, why did I not just like believe in myself? What the heck? Like, yeah.
I didn't got punked in the out of body when I was younger and woke up quick. Then I was laying there mad, like, why did I let him punk me like that? Like, he just punked. I got scared and was like, wake up. I was like, nah. After that, it's fight time. I'm fighting, but not no more. I'm on my positivity now. You know,
I had to chill with that also.
Yeah. But if it arises, you know, if it's something for real, then it's gonna have to
combat ready. You know, it's like I'm ready, but I just don't want to do it. But if I gotta do it, I would do it.
It's like, I'm a man of peace, but if you bring war, I'm with that too. Nah, boy.
Yeah, for real. I'm more of a Malcolm X by any means necessary type of person, for sure. For sure. But yeah, so I don't know how you guys feeling. You guys want to get into a Q&A, interact with the people, see if they have any questions.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm cool with it.
All right. Yeah. So at this time we can open up the chat to a Q&A. You guys can feel free to drop your questions in there, and we'll try to answer as many as we can. Yeah. And while they load up, all right. So Nothing But Truth says he has a question about time. I know that time is an illusion, but do the other side have some kind of intervention on time perception, speeding on time, or us realizing more of this illusion of time? I'll let Genie answer that. He's pretty good at time.
I think he's the best one for that.
So, all right, let me see. So when it comes to, you keep the question up for me? All right, bet. Because the way this word is kind of like, but I think I get what we're kind of getting at here. So with time being an illusion, right? All right. So let's understand what time actually is. So time is just the progression of events through space, really the progression of light through space, right? So this movement is what creates time, but we have our own sense of time. We could perceive it as fast or slow. Now, when people say that time's an illusion, it's because although we see it as a progression of events, on the other side, it's really just points in space. You could go to this point, that point, that point. So past, present, future is all existing right here. Now, when it can the question be brought back up real quick? Can we keep that up there? When it comes to the other side's intervention on time perception, I'm not inherently sure if like other beings will just come and like speed up your time. But what I do know is that like if you I've seen people talk about this, how like the past few years felt like they went by really quick. As evolution
Mhm.
happens, sometimes your perception of time does change, where things start happening really quick, moving really fast. Like 2025 was a breeze. I'm not gonna lie. Like I still think it's 25. I still think it's 2025 sometimes because as evolution happens, your perception of time does change. And part of that is because so how can I put this? If if you are becoming more detached from physical events out here, you're not paying attention to all the events happening. When it comes to slowing down your perception of time, you have to look at every single minuscule event. You have to feel every second passing the slow down time. On the flip side, with speeding up time, you stop paying attention. So, like with me, for example, if I want to like speed up time inside my head, let's say I'm in the car with my girlfriend, she's driving somewhere, I would just blank out and just come back like, oh, it's been like 5 seconds, but it's been like really 50 minutes. Saying that because as people begin to naturally evolve, they begin to pay less attention to the physical events of the world so much that they're more focused on themselves and their reality inside of themselves. And this will change your perception of time. So I don't know if other beings are inherently speeding up our time, but I know that evolution will naturally make you perceive time in a faster way because you're not as focused on the things you used to be focused on. When you're sitting there stressing and worrying and da 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 da, things feel like they're taking forever to happen. But when you're just focused on your internal state, vibing on your own frequency, things kind of just happen a bit faster. At least it seems that way. And as we evolve more, time will seem to go by faster because we're not as involved in seeing how things play out here, which is focused on our internal state and manifesting our internal state outside of here. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, that's good, Genie. And to touch on that a little bit more, when he says time is just a frequency point and it's just another space and you can go there and access it, think about it like this. When we say time is all happening at once, on the other side, it appears like that. Now, there is still a sequence of events. You can experience something on the other side before you experience something else, you see? So it's not like you're just in all these time periods. It's like you have the ability to see time. Like an example of this is imagine us inside of a TV and this what this human life is, and you can pause, fast forward, and rewind your TV. That's what you can do on the other side. You can pause, you can see real time, you can go back and see the past, you can see potential futures. That's kind of how it, because you're outside of the constraints of time here. And as far as time here, it is part of this template to experience the illusion of time. Like that's why it takes time for me to grow my beard out. Like I can't just close my eyes and my beard will be out like I can on the other side. That's another aspect of it. Is like on the other side, if I want to grow my beard out, I just think and my beard will be grown out. So you don't experience time in that way as well. But yeah, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
And that's perfect how you said it because like yeah, it's like a think about a film strip also. In a film strip, like with old movies with film strips, you can just look really when you see movies, it's just different pictures moving super duper fast. When you're outside of time, because people say that time's an illusion. Illusions are still real, they're just not perceived properly. Like this is technically an illusion because you see a cup, but it's really just energy. It's still here though, still exists. It's not how you think it does. So it's like, yeah, time still exists out of your body. You're just not bound to it. Opposed to being in the film, being forced to move from beginning to end, you could choose to be like, oh, I'm outside the film. I could look at that frame, that frame, that frame, that frame. The way you said that's like is perfect. You can literally rewind, pause, slow down because you're outside. You're not being bound by time. You're just perceiving time by being outside of it. So if you think about it, like a movie film strip is literally exactly like that. You just look at different frames that are they either happened before or might happen in the future, or you just stay inside the present right now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all said it perfectly.
All right. Yeah, Cameron has a question for Fourth. He says, bro, speak on driving random cars and eating astral food and speaking with the Wolf K9 entity while passenger in a car. Yeah, Fourth experiences are hilarious, guys. He just tells them so funny. Yeah.
He talked about, I think he said about 4 different experiences in that one sentence right there. So talk about that.
I'm going to shut my camera off for a minute, but I'm listening. One second.
I can't see the question. I don't know if did my screen just get too big or something? Hold up. Okay, I see it now. But yeah, The one where I seen the canine, that was the one where I went through the light, where I took the kid through the light. I'm gonna have to shorten up the experience a little bit, but that was when I was helping this girl. I was told to get this girl. She was I guess she was dying and she was afraid to go through the light. And when I got to her, I was talking to her and I was like, "Why are you afraid to go through the light?" She was like, "I don't know. I don't want to go with the group." So I was like, "You know what?" I was like, "You know what? I'll go with you. Don't be afraid." So I took my dumb ass. I mean, I took my stupid self into the light. And when I went through the light, when I went through the light, uh I was in this realm. The realm was dope. It looked beautiful, the grass green, everything. And us, it's just when I got there, the problem was is that I was like my conscious, not I was aware, but the memory of me in this physical reality kept fading. You know what I'm talking
Mhm,
about? Like it was
mhm.
like I wasn't remembering my physical life, and that was weird to me because I would be going, I'd be kicking it, chopping it up. I went to this little room and it was a bunch of kids. They wanted to play. They wanted to play a game. So I played a game with them. I'm like, let's play the game. But they want to keep playing. And I'm like, hold up, I gotta go. And they're like, no, I don't wanna. And I'm like, hold up, I gotta wake up. I said, I think
Yeah. Oh, I remember that. Yeah, yeah. I remember
yeah,
that
I
one.
said, "I gotta wake up," and they like, "No." I said, "I made it, bro." I was like, I had to get up out of there, and and I forgot. I didn't even tell nobody. I didn't even say about the part when I left that. I left that. It was like a tree outside, and it was this big bat, like a huge. It was just hanging from the tree upside down. It didn't do nothing to me. I just looked at it and was like, "Oh hell no!" And I kept walking. I kept moving. He probably was some intelligence. You know what I'm saying? It probably could have
Mm.
spoke to it, but at that time I was a little scared.
Yeah,
But
big behind bad. I'm not trying to talk to you.
yeah, so I just keep walking. Next, you know, I'm with this dude, and he talking to me. We chopping it up, and he got a car, and he like, "You, hey, come ride with me." Whoop, whoop. And I'm talking to him, and I'm like, while I'm talking to him, I start remembering. Hold up, I need to wake up. So I'm like, okay, I need to wake up. Now he starts telling me, nah, you okay, you good. This and that distracted me. And this white wolf came up. And I'm like, the white wolf started talking to me. And I'm like, it's like, I want to go with you. Like, kind of like, you know, that it's like in my mind,
Mhm.
like it want to ride with me. So I'm like, okay. And I told the dude, I said, I'll ride with you, but the wolf is coming too. So I got in, the wolf got in the back seat. We started driving. He driving, we just chopping it up. And then I get the memory again. Okay, I need to wake up. Like I've been in here way too long. Now I'm saying it's short, but I was in there for a long time. Like I'm at least I felt like it. Now we driving like I gotta wake up. And he like, nah, just chill, chill. Next you know, the wolf started barking, like growling at him, like so I said, let me get out. The wolf telling me something. Like, so I need to get away from him because he keep trying to distract me. So I get out. I end up at this house where this it was like on a hill. It was like on a hill like this, and the house was up here, but it was like a street on the side. Now I'm telling you, this place was beautiful, but it was just me in my fear state still a little bit like I'm here too long. I don't want to die like back then. So
Mhm.
I go into the house and I'm chopping it up with the people because I forgot that I needed to wake up. So I'm just there and I'm experiencing all this, talking to people, chilling. It's nothing like they telling me some amazing information. It's just like kicking it with your homies or your friends or whatever. So I'm kicking it. I go in the house. I walk around the house. I go to this back room, and it's like and it felt like an invisible force field that came into this room. And when I walked into the room, uh, the dude was like, "You can't go in that room," and I was like, "Shoot, I'm in an outer body. I need to wake up, but I want to see this." So I started looking around. The lady was like, she came in there. She was like, "He's fine. He's fine." And then I'm like, as I'm looking at all this, it looked like ancient art, like a bunch of ancient art from Africa, China, all kinds of stuff. I'm like, this is pretty dope. So this point, I'm like, hold up. Now I gotta wake up. Like I'm starting to get frustrated. So I started walking down the hallway. I don't know why in my mind I needed to go outside to wake up, but in my mind I was like, I need to get out this house and wake up. But so I started running, I started going out the house. The dude keep messing with me, like, no, it's okay. You're okay. And I'm like, no, bro, I need to wake up. I end up running down to the street. He followed me. I pushed him back with my energy, like flew him back up the hill, like and I put my arms out like this and I just started screaming like a crazy man. I was in there like, like I need to wake up. And I'm doing this. The woman run out the house, but while I'm doing this, it looked like the whole the whole space was just shaking. The houses, the grass. But I'm doing this. She like, you could wake up. She runs up to me, rubs my palm, and she say, you could wake up. And I just floated back through a portal right into my body. And I woke up on the couch like, what the hell just happened? What the and then I started thinking like, I wonder if I was dead. Like, I was just laying on the couch, dead as a doorknob. I probably could have stayed there. Probably should, you know what I'm saying? But that was a crazy experience.
Yeah, and that's crazy because when you say you think about your body, because oftentimes in experiences, as soon as I think about my body,
We back.
I'm back in it. But that's because you were on the other side of the light. You see, so it
Yeah.
took a little bit. You were out there, but you were out there. But
Yeah.
it is. I would like to say that you always are going to come back. Like
Yeah.
you can always come back. You can die. This is where we get near death experiences. You can
Yeah.
literally die here and still come back as long as your body's not blown up or it's really old. You can always come back.
Yeah.
Always. You know,
I'll check.
we are ultimate authority in that aspect. But yeah, man, but that sensation of like, damn, am I gonna be here for a minute?
When I was
That just comes from because you know you have a mission to be here. Like you
Yeah.
this is where you're still supposed to be.
Yeah.
You know,
Back when I was younger, I didn't know nothing about like the because yeah, I was 15. That was like 20, 24, 25 years ago. I was having experiences that was like nobody could tell me nothing about. So I was like, shit, like I was scared of shit. I get on my body and I try to wake up and I'm like, and I'm still there. I'm like, hold up, what I ain't waking up? Hold up.
Yeah, because you didn't know what was going on. Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
why these things are so powerful because a lot of people have these experiences, but they don't know what's going on. So if you can find somebody that's been doing this for years and then they put you on game and it's like, okay, now all of a sudden you're ahead when you're having these experiences and now you have background and now you can evolve and to build on that person's experiences. And that's what this is all about. And I don't understand why when I started doing it, I got hate for it and motherfuckers trying to shut me up. I'm like, nigga, what? Like, ain't this all about evolution? And spreading the truth? Like,
That's what it's about. Yeah.
Yeah,
I had people do that to me. They was thinking that they was in my, hey, you can't be you talking about this and this and that. So and so talk about that. I'm like, y'all don't, it's like people don't see it. Like if they don't see it, they like say you started right now. Somebody that was doing it, they be like, he started doing it and you came in and talking about his information. It's like, no, this information is out here. Like it's when you experience the outer body, you're gonna have almost the same information as that other person because you're gonna feel the same sensations. It might be different, a little different, but you're gonna experience the same things. You know what I'm saying? And people coming at me, they was
same. Leaving your body has been around for forever. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth mention this. If you lay still long enough, you'll leave your body. I just seen a 17-year-old kid on Instagram talking about if you do this, you will leave your body, and he's never even heard of anybody else. Like people know this, and trying to hide it or gatekeep it is like crazy to me.
Yeah,
but yeah, but what else was I going to get on? Oh, yeah. And another example is you told me that you've been to a place that was called Neo something.
Oh, it was called Euro Soul. I wasn't going to talk about it because I was like, I was telling you, I was like, I wasn't going to tell nobody about it because I was like, they're going to be like, he biting off of Alchemist.
Nah, it's not that. It's things are real on the other side, man. And a lot of times now I found that interesting because I was in a place, it was Neo Soul. So maybe this is a naming structure of other cities or something like that. Yeah. So what was Euro Soul like?
Even in the experience, when I experienced, it's like they told me right off the bat, like I'm sitting and I'm chilling. It's like futuristic, but also naturey. I don't know if that make like, you know what I'm talking about? Like it had like this nature vibe, but it still was like super future. Like the cars, the buildings was different, the structures, but it had like big trees and it was a field that had these big old trees and these weird looking plants. And it had this you could go to another place through like I don't know what you would call it, like a gateway type of going to another. It's like they could travel to another, say if it's like the United States, they want to go to they in California, they want to go to Texas, they could go through this like portal type thing. Like and
that's how it was. That's
like,
how it was when everything was open up. There was portals. Like you can be on one state. They would have stargates. These things are real. There's one in Arizona. There's one in Port. Like they're still real. They're still here. They're just deactivated. But yeah, that's how it is.
yeah,
And on the other side of the ice wall, they still use those stuff. Like it's
yeah,
just not here now. So yeah, it
yeah.
sounds like you could have been on another
Like a
on a
different.
place
The only problem
beyond the ice
is
wall. Yeah.
I need to go back because I didn't get enough information. Because when I was in there and I went through, I was like, because I wanted to go through that door, that portal to go to the other place. Because I when I looked at it and I seen him going through, I asked, I said, man, what's that? Like, I said, where am I at? He said, this is Euro Soul. And I was like, when he said that, I instantly thought of Alchemist. And I was like, hold up, is he just saying that because I heard Alchemist say Neo Soul? Like, I'm like, when I came back, when I woke up, I was like, I ain't gonna talk about it. Because I think I'm like, I know the
Yeah,
people that
yeah,
like be following me probably like, he ain't never told us that. Yeah, I ain't never said it.
yeah. Yeah,
But yeah.
but nah, man. I believe that's a real place and a real experience for sure. Based on what I know and what I see, it's a lot of, there's a lot of places and commonalities, and these experiences help us map together the bigger piece of this place. Because this universe, even though I say it's a finite place, it is infinite in that sense. There's tons of dimensionals. There's realms for one, right? That's the base layer. There's realms. We are in one realm now, but even inside this realm that we are in, there's other kingdoms and dimensions here that we can't even see. And it's the
Yeah.
same for everything. So honestly, as big as they say the whole universe is, for every star that's in the sky, there's a place and time period that correlates
Yeah.
to here.
Yeah.
So like
Yep.
it is just that big. It's just set up differently, separated by frequency and stuff.
Yep.
So like every star does have a place or a kingdom or it's time or space within this construct that it correlates to. And this is found all over, like in South America. When Jeannie, you were talking earlier how there's pyramids there. They are, and this kid actually put it together, discovered a lot of pyramids in South America just by remembering that they were lined up with the stars and things like that. So once you know that, you can correlate where the pyramids are here because they all line up to things in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
All right. Shapeshifter says, guys, asking you again, have you met those green beings? I couldn't go back again. Don't even know who they were. Green beings.
I've seen some green
Yes.
beings in the experience that I had, but they wasn't like I don't know what they were. They were tall and real skinny. Like they had like them, like they was just super skinny. Almost looked like reptilian, but not. You know what I mean?
Like the mantis type beings, or no?
That might have been, I don't know. Cause it was like in this experience, it was like 3 different groups. It was like one that looked kind of human, and then the other ones, they was like tall and they was green, but their head was shaped like they was like real fucking real tall. And it was another one. They didn't talk like through their mouth. They talked telepathically, but the other ones talked like it was different. It was like weird. But that's the
And
only
it's funny when you say that there is human-like beings with you too, because sometimes when I'm with these ETs, they be with human-looking.
yeah.
Like I was with
You gotta
one, and it was a guy that looked like Bruce Willis. He was like the leader. And then there was another guy that looked like Tim Duncan, just tall and
yeah.
black. And then they were with this purple ET. And
And that
the
sound
purple
like
ET was talking to me telepathically, telling me things. And
how
then
did
the
that
white
purple one
man,
look? How did
it
that
was
purple one
like
look?
crazy. Like I've never seen anything like this. She was purple, and then there was like things sticking out of her skin and like a black patch underneath her eye. It was like, where this bone is, it was
Yeah.
like black and like sticking out a little bit. And
Oh,
she looked absolutely insane.
yeah.
And when she was communicating with me telepathically, she was saying like, hey, I want to like do you and stuff like that. And I'm like,
I get that alien
crazy.
cooch.
Like
You gotta
you
get
look
that.
crazy.
You gotta,
Man.
you gotta,
I was like, I don't know about
you gotta
that.
get that extraterrestrial box, man.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know if I could do that,
That's what
Hey,
I'm about. I'm trying to be
and
the first one
and
to get that.
yeah, but and she was talking telepathically, and as she was telling me telepathically, the white man was actually still talking to me, and
Yeah.
I could hear both of them at the same time, and it was weird. But yeah, they do come together. Like
Yeah.
when we say there's human looking ETs, there are.
I didn't went on
Like,
missions.
yeah.
I didn't went on missions with other like type beings, and I don't even know what the hell we was doing. I just know as soon as I came to it, we started going on this mission, riding in the dang ship and everything. But it was one that was purple, and he had like it was a man though. He had like straight hair, Look like one of them old what's the like a Ricky Martin type dude, like had the smooth hair, but he talked telepathically, like you said. And I had to get on this gun on the side of the ship. It was him, and there was another one that was like not white but white. I don't know how to explain, like kind of like a tan, but looked weird. But it was just, and then some human looking beings. It was like I don't know, but been going on missions with them, like doing stupid. Like we caught this big ass animal thing with a net, and this sucker didn't even look like a it just had these tentacles all over his body, and it was just running like a dog. And I don't even think we was doing nothing super serious. I think this wherever I was at, that creature was just like a loose dog. It was like
Mm.
something. It wasn't nothing like real
Right.
serious.
But yeah, so to touch on the green beans, I forget which green beans you're talking about, but I've never really seen green beans. I have seen like some troll like beings. They look kind of like trolls, like, but it was here in Bali, and I think it was like some of the entities that they be like praying to or something here. Like it was like a troll like being, but I don't know. I've never seen shapeshifter. I remember your earlier comment talking about them. I've never seen those particular
Yeah.
ones.
The only green being, well, I've seen mantis beings, but I also saw like a humanoid, had like a long big head, you know, wasn't like overly long though, but like, it's like kind of like long big head, yellow eyes, and he was showing me about like opening up portals. I think it was an ET, probably was an ET, looked like an ET. He was like just showing me how to open up portals and stuff like that, and like how to like just use your finger to do it and stuff, and that was pretty dope. But yeah, I don't. I mean, there's a lot of beings that could be green, I believe, out here, you know. So might need some more descriptors to really pinpoint what that could have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do y'all believe we're entering to the stage of reality to where we will become real life superheroes, aka Marvel or the boys?
Could do that right
Certainly
now.
possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, you certainly can. I'm going to a guy today after this that can shoot electricity out of his hands. Like, like these powers are here now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But for sure,
it's
it's going to be
people.
more open. Yeah, it depends on what you put your energy to. Like right now, most
Yeah.
people are focused on going to work,
Yep.
learning how to operate within this matrix. But as that shifts to being more in tune with our natural abilities and tapping into ourself, and you have more energy and focus on that, then things will start to wake up a lot more. And yeah, that's certainly where we're headed. Yeah.
Yep. All this work can be
Yeah,
keeping us
if you
down.
study some of these like immortals out here, if you study some of these
Hold on,
immortals,
Prab.
like they
We
be
do
doing
have.
stuff like they could dematerialize everything
Hold on,
good.
Prab. Let's hit some of these super chats that they do, so they don't gotta wait for them. Oh, Kelly OP. Hey, Andre, I've been following you for quite
While
some
we're
time.
fighting
How
with
do I
them.
work with one-on-one with someone who is in another country? I'm considering it. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I have an availability, so like when you book, the availability will be there. In the event, that time doesn't work for you, just shoot me an email and we can certainly, work one-on-one. Anytime that works for you, certainly. All right.
Valkyrie.
And then Andrew got one. I see. Andrew says, "Do GenieDot want to talk about his bounty hunter days? Pretty interesting."
I could share some stories. So I'll just kind of, I guess, state how I got into this. Start leaving my body. Uh, Contrary to popular belief, I actually didn't encounter negative beings that much. It's actually pretty rare. And in fact, I'd be mad. I'm not seeing nothing. Like I'm not my body. I'm not seeing nobody. I didn't know what was going on. Right. Over time, though, like I would start seeing videos of people like talk about like spiritual assassin, whatever the hell or whatever the heck. Yeah, I got my first slip up today. But anyway, people talk about that. I'm like, okay, that's cool. I wouldn't like look into it much, but over time I started like sometimes I might have an encounter like a shadow being, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to fight this thing.
Mhm.
Over time, I'm like, yo, I kind of like this because like I always been into like ninjas and like assassins. I always love that stuff. But I know why now. off of past life stuff. Like, yo, like with
Yeah.
swords in real life, I could go crazy. I never learned about how to sword fight in real life, but like my sword ability is actually pretty good because past life stuff, right? So I
Yeah.
always been interested in that type of stuff. So when I found that this was like a
Mhm.
thing that people talk about online, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna start like trying to hunt down beings. At first I would just let them come to me, but I wasn't even encountering that many. Over time, like I'm gonna go hunt. I'm gonna go hunting for some. Like remember the one time I went on like a real
I
hunt.
used to do that.
I was like, yo, I'm gonna leave my body and go to like a dark behind place and just try to find like something to fight. Um, and what happened was I left my body and like I was like in this like dark city and I'm seeing like these. It was like
Oh,
this
good
like
morning.
shadowy like woman who's like jumping across like these houses and there's like a water tower at some point. I'm chasing down like, oh yeah, I'm about to get her. Because like she was like going house to house to like drain people or something like that. So I'm like, oh, I'm about to get her. I hop up on a water tower. I try to grab her and like rip her apart, but she just disappeared. I'm like, dang, like I'm not getting no game for real, you know? So over time, I recognized that maybe I should find people that are in lower states because I learned over time that typically lower beings might hang around people in lower states. So I would try to just explore people's houses. Sometimes you might see a lower being there, may not. I was just hunting things like that. And then as I got closer with like other like higher beings, they would talk about like demon hunting and I would get like assignments sometimes sometimes I could be in a dream state and they're like yo go like hunt this whatever the heck. I'm like yeah, and like there'll be like a picture like in the dream but like now I'm aware and like as I become aware like the dream kind of falls apart and I'm kind of somewhere else. I just start looking for this being. I should start hunting that, you know. So I started getting like missions at some point, and I would be on and off demon hunting. By the way, I wasn't like always just like demon hunting like, for years. No, it'd be like on and off, you know. Like, so yeah, I started getting like actual like bounties, low key. I'm like, oh, this is like really lit. I could like just like choose to like I can choose to align with certain beings. They'll just give me stuff to fight, you know. But then I started interacting with like more angelic like beings and they would teach me a bit deeper about like how negative entities actually work. This is what I learned about how like when you hunt certain beings, if like a demon is popping up like in your room, for example, and then like you kill it, it typically goes back to like its own dimensional space kind of a thing, like where it exists at. You have to go to that space to actually like kill them fully. So then like I had to start training how to actually go to lower spaces, like where it's gonna be like full of demons. So that was a whole entire thing of conquering fear and all these different kinds of things because just being inside those spaces, bro, you just feel like pressure, bro. Like imagine you walking in the hood, get full gang activity, and like you just by yourself. It feels like that kind of pressure, but like times 10. You know, I had to get really comfortable with like fear and stuff like that. And like it would suck when like I was like, if I already had the intent to demon hunt before leaving my body, it was hard because as I'm about to leave, I'm just thinking like fearful stuff. I'm like, this is not a good state to be inside of. So over time, I started seeing how this is kind of like, why am I even doing this to myself? But over time, I was like, nah, I'm gonna face it anyway. So I did, and like it became easier. I'm like, I can
Yeah.
pretty much do anything, you know. So I started going to lower spaces to officially eradicate certain beings, but I had to do it a very specific way because I learned over time that some people are kind of meant to deal with certain entities like on their own. And if you just like get rid of the entity, because a lot of entities will come into like an open door. Like, let's say you are very depressed or very angry, very lustful, that's your open door, right?
Yep.
And sometimes if you get rid of like the entity attachment, they'll just bring back several more entities and just make it worse, you know. And they actually have a verse about that inside the Bible. I found this out years later as I'm reading the Bible. It mentioned how pretty much if you get rid of one demon and you don't like in the person not filled with like quote unquote the spirit in the Bible, 10 more will come back, 10 more stronger ones will come back. So I'm saying this because I had to learn that certain people have to deal with things on their own because
Yep.
if you try to help them through it, you actually can make things worse sometimes. Now I'm learning about like, oh my God, like now there's like I'm seeing it's kind of like contracts that people make unknowingly. It's like when a person agrees to be lustful, it's like they're kind of in contract with the
That's a
demon,
fact.
and that demon has, and I'm using demon very lightly, you know, like not all demons even look scary. Like some look like regular behind humans, but they're just like twisted and evil, you know. So it's all kinds of like
Mhm.
when I say demon, it's a very light term.
Yeah.
But different entities have like kind of it's kind of like contract with the person that you can't avoid it. So there is that thing I have to learn. I have to learn how to help people raise their frequency opposed to just fighting the demon itself.
Yeah,
Now you raise your
Yeah.
frequency, the demon's not even around you anymore. It can't feed off you anymore. So you have to go through
that's a
those types of
fact.
things. Over time, that's when I learned that me fighting at this point is kind of pointless. I was just doing it for fun. Like once it became fun, I'm like, oh, it's lit. Like me and my boy King Cash, we will fight demons together. We're like, yo, let's meet up in your neighborhood and fight this one demon. We really doing that, having the same experience, all that stuff. You know, like we was really like getting into that. But nowadays, don't really do it as much because it's like there's no real point. It was fun while it
Yeah, when
lasted.
you're doing these things by yourself, like when you're just getting into it, you don't know what's going on, so you will want to fight things and things like that. But as you get into it and you have a more solid understanding, you understand that, like you were saying, contracts about people. So there is that, and when you're doing it unconsciously, when you leave here, your memories don't come back immediately, like all of them. So there is moments where you can catch people if you're in a low vibrational state and gear them towards something, and you can make an unconscious type of deal or something like that. Those things are real and they do exist. And any being that you run into is just going to be in forgetfulness more and not step back into the truth. They are limited because everything is relative to the frequency of the observer. So these beings are even limited in terms of things that they can access until they step out of that and return back to unconditional love and integrity. So they're even limited to around these lower realms. And that's why they seem like bullies, because they've been dwelling down here for so long, but they're even limited. So if you just bypass all of that and just, be higher, you'll
Yeah,
back, and then you'll be able to come back with a higher perspective and help people in a better way.
I
Better
used to
life.
be out there
Yeah,
whooping them demons. I used to be boy. When I found out,
Yeah.
because they don't have the power they have is the power you give them.
literally.
Because
Yeah.
like if you don't give them that, if you ain't fearful, if you in your authority, they can't do nothing to you. When I learned
Yeah,
that,
yes,
just
yeah.
just like he was saying, I was out there hunting for him. I was out there
Yeah,
whooping shit.
It got to a point where like I said, because that's why I was like yo, most of my experiences were negative because I always knew that I'm a god. Like I would come out like when I leave my body as I'm younger, I'm like I'm a god, I could do this, da da da. So I leave my body thinking I'm a god. If I'm a god, I choose what I want around me. So I didn't really want negative beings at first. So I didn't really see them like that. Like I noticed that the reason I didn't encounter negative beings was because I wasn't on that low frequency. I had to literally lower
Yeah.
myself to get there, you know. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, over time, you got I started learning certain powers. Like I called it a kind of shite. It's kind of like what it sounded like when I learned out of body from like these godlike beings. But it was so powerful. Like it was once I left my body. Listen, being chasing me, I'm like, I'm running, not because I'm scared. I don't want to completely obliterate you. I'm like, I'm trying to
Yeah.
stop this fight. I'm running like I'm trying to fly away. This starts on my behind. I'm like, oh yeah. So I flew up higher, and like my form started like glowing, like with like it's like I was like very black, but like I had like these glowing blue veins. I hit certain hand
Mhm.
signs. I threw a blast down called a Kanashite, bro. Once it hit the ground and the being, the whole reality just kind of fell apart. I'm just in a black space, like, dang, I destroyed the whole reality. Like, it's like I'm really a god. Why am I fighting these petty demons? Now it's like if I see a demon, it's just be gone. I don't even gotta try to do the little slice, cut. No, just snap, be
yeah.
gone, and it'll leave.
And
Because you have that authority.
yeah, and another aspect to what Jeannie was saying, how they have to help themselves. You really do. Everything. We are all gods. The same way that he's saying he's a god outside of his body. We all are. So if you run into somebody that's creating their reality, even from a low conscious level, they have to be the ones to really be like, okay, I'm done with this. I want to seek this. Now, with that said, are you still able to guide people and help people and show them the light and show? Yes, you can. But ultimately, it's up to them. They are creating their own world, their own experience. And an example of this is in the movie What Dreams May Come, where that girl dies, she kills herself, and she's in her own space, and her husband tries to help her, but it really was up to her to break out of the box and to go up. So it's really like we're all creating our own reality. And when you're open, and when you're not open, or you're closed off to a certain belief system or belief structure or anything, it is hard to get out of that. That's why the best belief system is no belief system, you know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see some other questions here.
Yo, fourth eye, you trying to get your pet gnat, bro? I think it came over here to my area too.
He done got over there. He done got over there. God damn. Hey, I did what one of them said. They said get some. You know what it was? What's crazy? I didn't know. I didn't know that they go in plants. It was a plants. I'm like, where the fuck? I'm thinking that that's coming from the fruits. They coming from damn plants, the soil
Mm.
that I got in the plate in my plate. I took them all outside though. Now I got the dang vinegar with the dish Dawn soap in the bowl. Try to get rid of that.
Yeah.
Word.
But I
All
didn't know
right.
that. I
So,
just wanted some nature in the house. You
all right. Soul Clip says, how do you get over the fear while being in the vibrational state during meditation?
know,
How do you get over the fear? So you have to understand that the vibrational state is literally just something's within you, because we are in such a low vibrational place here in the human world, and the other side is everything's frequency based. So it's literally just your soul's frequency beginning to rise. um, More or less, that's all it is. It's just your soul's frequency beginning to rise. And once you understand that it's not happening to your physical body. I promise you, it's not. It's just your soul that's experiencing this. Like sometimes my teeth would be chattering so much, I'm thinking I'm having a seizure. And then I asked my partner, I'm like, yo, did you feel me shaking? She'd be like, no. I'd be like, oh, okay. So it's really, just your soul. It may feel like it's your physical body, but it's not. It's just your soul's rising. Once you understand that, that's what helped me. And then I embrace them. I say things like, I embrace these vibrations. I allow these vibrations. And then once you do that, they'll actually even out and become stronger. And then from that point, you're actually able to just leave and things like that. So, yeah.
yeah.
I'll say also, work on your root chakra. Like, and if you ever gonna do no crazy work, just say affirmations. Like I made a whole entire document to tune your chakras for out of body states, because your chakras are involved with that. They have different chakras do different things. When it comes to fear, you got to work on the root and the sacral, right? If you just say affirmations like stability, grounded, calm, and then you like make prayers like I remain stable as awareness expands and stuff like that, right? You will notice a sense of calmness inside of you. And what I mean, and I know this for a fact because with me, over just 2 days of doing it, right? Like whenever I leave my body, I tend to be on my back. I hate leaving from my side. When I was like earlier in my phase, I would kind of just like shake myself awake immediately. Now, if I'm on my side, like I'm really calm now. I'm like, oh, I'm on my side.
Yeah.
I could try to exit right now. Should I fix myself? Like I could really just be calm and sit inside that state because I fixed my energy system. Like nervous system regulation is a real thing, but also just like chakras, like just making sure your chakras function properly. Because at the root, it keeps you grounded and like keeps you stable even inside of expanded states. And the last thing I'll say also is with the vibrational stage, if you get rid of micro tension and you just develop your energy body more, that's gonna stop happening. Like if you look at like several different ancient cultures that have been leaving the body, bro, they mention why these things happen. A lot of the common stages that we go through are like really just beginner things that are signs of not developing your energy body. Things like qigong actually do help you. Pranayama, these things actually help you to the point where like you start to transition really smoothly, and living your body in the day will become simple. Also, you wake up in the morning time, let like 6 hours pass, your energy has to stabilize itself anyway, but your mind is still super aware. So if you leave in that type of state, you'll have more access. You're not going to be falling asleep out of your body. And if you trained yourself properly, you can just literally lay down, start detaching, and leave in. I mean, the quickest
Very
I've done
quickly.
in the daytime is like probably like 20 minutes, but people be leaving in like 10 minutes also. Like people could, like, you could start
Yeah.
leaving really fast if you could. Now, granted, you need time sometimes, like with stuff I'm doing like if I want to leave quick, I'm practicing every day, all day, like different points of the day, like morning, evening, morning, afternoon, evening, and night, But even if you're not doing all that, if you just find a good energy body practice and do that for like maybe a week to a month straight, those phases become way easier to move through for sure.
Yeah. And to touch on what Genie's saying, chakra alignment does help. There was this one point when I wasn't leaving my body, very frequently at all. Like I was struggling. And I documented what I did for 30 days to be able to achieve it. And I was aligning my chakras and things like that. I did a whole document, and they do help. It does help. And then by the end of the 30 days, I was leaving pretty quick again after that, like 3-4 times a week. after those 30 days of
Mm.
doing chakra alignment meditations and things like that. And you guys, the affirmations Jeannie said is a good tool, but also if you can just YouTube chakra alignment meditations on YouTube. There's like 15-minute meditations that you can do. Joe Dispenza has some good ones. I outlined just what I do in this document. It's in the toolbox. And what Jeannie was saying, he is right about, things can help if you develop your energy body and things like that. It does help. And that's why we're experiencing the vibrational system, is because we're out of alignment. So when I say it's your frequencies, your soul's frequency beginning to rise, it is. And there is ways to help with that here. And it's all documented. It is. And it is really easy to leave your body. Once you're in tune with it, it's very easy. And that's why when this nigga Darius was like, oh, Andre's not leaving his body like that, I was like, nigga, like what? Like, you think you the only one that can do this? Like, it's not hard. It's not hard. There was one point when I wasn't. And, when he said that, I'm like, all right, you really trying to take this control and manipulation to a whole nother level. But,
Oh, damn.
damn.
I knew
I was like,
he said that
it's
he's
not
wrong
hard.
for that.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It's not hard to do these things.
Yeah.
Once now there is time periods. I will say that there is time periods where things will be harder to do it. I have gone through time periods, where it was a little hard, but there is time periods as well where it's very easy. Like when Jeannie said that you can lay down in 5 to 10 minutes, it really was this easy. When I was in Egypt, I was telling Lova, like, hey, all you need to do is lay there and think about the other side. Like if you've had an out of body, all you need to do is lay there and think about the frequency or the experience for like 5 or 10 minutes, not even a long time, just a long time, and then just go to sleep. And then you'll wake up and be out of your body. There's so many techniques, but one way that you can do it all the time, 100% of the time, if you're able to do it, is just lay still and keep your mind awake while your body falls asleep. That's one way that we can all leave, on demand, and it works 100% of the time. It's just if you give up or not, you know. And then even from there, there's ways to induce that even quicker. I got it down to like 45 minutes to an hour, like on command every time. So there is ways to do that. It is.
I seen GenieDot's video. I was cracking up because he was talking about when you be laying and you be meditating and you start feeling that feeling, your arms start doing this shit or your legs start doing this shit. I was like, that's some real stuff. You'll be laying there in meditation and you'll feel that vibrational state. You'll start feeling your body. Your arm will just start doing this. You'll start feeling your shit going. You'll be like, what the?
Spinning.
You just like, what the hell? But that vibrational state
above your body and stuff. MK Vision says, do you know something about geometric shapes? Which shape emits a healing frequency? Oh, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
MK Vision.
Geometric shapes. I haven't necessarily got into this as much. I remember when I first was entering into this space, I was thinking about geometric shapes and how the concept of how designs can go on infinitely and things like that. And geometry was very important. But then as I started leaving my body, things like that became less important for me to understand. So I don't necessarily know. Jeannie, do you, or 4-5?
I don't really get into that too much. That's GenieDot right there. I think GenieDot
that's what Jeannie
So as far as shapes, so like we'll just do like 3 basic shapes at first and expand a little bit more to like what are those called? Whatever they're called. I'm gonna get to them later. But the 3 basic shapes: triangles, squares, and circles. So triangles build energy. It's like a fire element to kind of build energy inside you. That's why pyramids are triangles. But at the base, it's like a square because squares contain energy. So you have a square containing energy with energy rising up inside you. So pyramids contain energy, but also extend your energy upward and kind of like build your energy upward and stuff like that. Circles are more about just like open spaces. So like if you have a circle of energy, it's just energy freely flowing and stuff like that, Now when it gets to the 5 platonic solids, I know that the dodecahedron deals with ether, and it helps to essentially shape vibrations in ether into a certain kind of reality. There's the tetrahedron, that's fire. It's like a 3-dimensional triangle, same as like a regular triangle. Fire element builds energy and stuff like that. If you build structures, if you build a structure like a tetrahedron, you start getting like just these powerful energetic harnessing structures. Isosahedron, I think that's the is that water or air? I think that one's air. Might be water though. Long story short, those shapes have different elemental qualities and energetic qualities, which if you know how to properly use them, you could build your spaces in certain ways to harness certain energy. So like this
Hmm.
is why like being in a room can like have like if you're in a room that's square with your door closed all day, it could get stagnant because you're trapping energy inside your space. You need to circulate that, open a window, open your doors more, circulate your energy and stuff like that, because if you keep it inside that, like if you're in a box all day thinking negative thoughts and stuff like that, it doesn't go nowhere. That's why you could leave the house and come back and think the same exact thoughts. You guys ever like had a thought, then left the room, then you kind of forgot that thought, step back inside the room, you get that thought back? Because I know with me, like I could think about doing something, I'll leave my room and then forget what I was gonna do. And I'm like, wait a minute, I gotta go back in my room to get that thought back. Go back inside my room, I get the thought back because inside, since the room is shaped as a cube, a square, it's holding that energy. So when you leave it without consciously thinking about that thought again, you might lose it to you hop back inside that space. So shapes do affect how energy flows essentially. And like really, there's all kinds of shapes around you which you cannot even like perceive. Like there's so like when it comes to these dimensional spaces, you could see that they're shaped in certain kinds of ways that are just like I don't know what the frick to call these shapes, but like the way that they're shaped shows you how energy moves through them and stuff like that. You kind of begin to intuit certain things based on just knowing the three basic shapes of a circle, square, and a triangle, because certain
Hmm.
shapes are more triangle based or square based, etc. You'll kind of get the intuitive notion. And if you want to build certain structures out of your body, you can try to get to geometry and stuff like that. But really, if you just think about building something, it's going to manifest anyway. So that part doesn't
Yeah,
really matter to me.
that's
Um,
that's kind of that's kind of where I was getting at, where I was like, all right, from a human standpoint, these things do help, and when you're in a physical incarnation, understanding how these things play out, they do help. But then once you get outside of here, it's not so much that, but geometry does play a big part in everything here. And this is, and what Jeannie was saying is how certain building shapes do influence things. And an example of this is I just did a sound healing inside of a soundproof pyramid. Now the geometry of the pyramid helped exonerate or exasperate the sound healing frequencies, and it was able to heal things. And then it goes up through the top of the pyramid and things like that. I was also inside of a dome like place and having some scalar healing done. And this is where ancient Egypt, this is what they utilize. They utilize these shapes and these patterns. And once you understand how they interact with this construct from a physical incarnation standpoint, you are able to create different shapes, different things. This is why the cathedrals are shaped the way that they are when you go inside of them, and they're pointy. And this is why they have bells in there. They could literally heal you as you step in there. You hit the bell, the shape of the place, and the frequency will heal you, and things like that. That's why they got rid of all the bells. Yeah, all of that does play a shape in it. And I figured you would know more about that, Genie, and how they actually work.
yeah, I had Arcturians freaking using shapes like this shape does this shape does that. I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool, Arcturian guys. That's pretty dope. That's like during my
Yeah.
ET days. I was really hyped about the ETs. Over time, like, oh, y'all are cool, but like these dragons though, they know a bit more than y'all do. I get obsessed with dragons
Yeah,
after that.
yeah, yeah. Thanks for that answer. Great insights. I'm going to rewatch and write it down. Couldn't memorize everything. Oh yeah, you're welcome, MK Vision. Thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, fourth, you muted.
Yeah, you muted.
I'll say I haven't felt that vibration state in a long time, like the real one when you first start and you be sitting there and your body be just vibrating hard. I don't never feel that, but I ain't gonna lie, I like the energy that fit. Like I feel the energy through my body when I'm laying
Oh,
down.
you never
Sometimes
felt the vibrational stage?
I have, but I don't feel it no more. Like I don't have that.
Oh yeah, it
I
goes
don't have.
away. It
Yeah,
goes
it goes
away.
away. It's
Yeah.
like I just have this cool feeling, and then it's like boop, and I'm out. But it's like I
Mm.
kind of once I do get those, if I ever do, I like to play with it. You can just lay there and just
Mhm.
go throughout your body and just let it just. But you'll pop out if you do that. Like That's kind of a technique because you just be playing with it, and you'll just be like, bloop,
Yeah.
you'll just pop out because the energy
I
is
like
too.
those feelings and sensations too, man. I just like to
Yeah,
sit in it. I'd be like, yes, it's
yeah.
here. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
I be
let's get
sitting
that
there.
Yeah, yeah.
manipulated.
It really
Yeah,
feels good and
yeah,
blissful at some point. It's kind of like being on a shroom a little bit. Like,
Yeah,
I'm not saying
yeah.
to go ahead and take shrooms out there, but yeah, like when you on supposed to be vibrating and stuff like that, that's how it's supposed to feel with like OBEs when like you're not as scared. It's like calmer, it feels
yeah,
blissful. It's like, yo, this, I like this. Like,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, you was talking about the
Anytime you're
oil
out,
thing.
it's fun. Even when you're just out floating above your body, just like
Mhm.
that stage is fun. It's like, hey, I'm free.
Yeah,
It is. It's a great feeling when you're out. I always say as soon as you guys leave your body and you're outside of the physical limitations of the body, how you think, all the physical, it's the best feeling ever.
it is. I'll be out there
It
lifting up
really is.
trash cans, crunching cars. I remember I used to leave my body just to like when I would leave my body when I was younger. Once I realized I could do certain things, as soon as I would leave my body, I start picking up still my energy, start
yeah.
practicing with stuff. I'd be like, okay, I can do this. I could do this. Oh shit, I can manifest this. But sometimes you'll try to manifest something, and you'll get the wrong object because your mind wasn't clear enough to. I mean, the thought of you like saying like I want a sword. You'll mess around and say I want a sword and have a kitchen knife. You be like, damn, I said a sword. Like but if you once you get a little more powerful in their thinking, the commands and whatever, really it's just letting go with everything. You know how people say
Mhm.
they say like when you come out, you see your thoughts and your thought projections and all this stuff. And this microphone right here is a thought. Everything is a thought. We
Mhm.
surrounded by thoughts. Like
Mhm.
like somebody
Yeah.
thought about this and it came from somewhere else and they thought about it,
It just
created
takes
it.
time to manifest here.
Yeah,
Like somebody had to think of this microphone and then make it before it was
yeah,
actually here. But it's still just a thought. And outside of your
yeah.
body, it's the same concept. Your
Same
thoughts
thing. It's
you're
just
outside of the
faster.
physical limitations and outside of time. So it
You
just
could do
happens
like
faster.
you could think of a
Yeah.
mic and just pop up like, oh shit. I mean, one time I thought I was getting chased by a lion. I was in the house. I came in my body. I go to the kitchen. It's a big ass lioness in there. And I'm like, what the hell? So I start running. It started chasing me. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Big ass lion. She stepped up and she just got on top of me and started licking my face. I was like, what the hell? Like, you'll see some
Yeah.
crazy stuff in the out of body experience. Some things like I used to see, and I'll be like, I can't even talk to nobody about this because it don't make no sense. Like it's and I had plenty of stupid ones where I came out my body and just was hitting the ceiling, just sitting there bopping the ceiling like this for a
Yeah, I
full
had
minute.
that too before you. Yeah, it happened to me before too.
I'm like, damn, get to the ground. Why am I
Yeah, bro. I'm like,
floating?
why can't I get
Why am I just doing?
Yeah.
my issue
Yeah.
though is
You
that
getting stuck.
what happened to me though, my issue was that I was current like off the influence. Like back in the past, bro, I used to be like with the weed smoking heavy. So like once
Yeah,
I was just like fried. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna try this method real quick. It's like 4 p.m. It's like I didn't think it's gonna work. That job really, I'm like, oh, I'm out. I try to fly up. I'm like this at the wall. I'm like, wait, why am I doing this? I'm like, oh no, I'm like, yo, I'm never about to like be on substances
yeah,
on my body ever again because you don't have that much control. It's
Yeah.
like
yeah.
control your
Yeah,
experience.
control
What I
gone.
found when you're in those spaces, that's like kind of where I was last week. So like when I said somebody was pulling on my leg and I was just kind of floating, unable to really get out, it's because the field of your body is not relaxed enough. So like you're not relaxed enough to be able to weaken the field that keeps your soul in enough. So like you'll be floating out, but like you're still attached to your body. But if you are able to relax in that state, you'll be able to break out free a lot easier. But it is hard. Like you'll be out, but like you can't move. Like it's like you're out floating, but like you can't move and stuff. And I found that if you just say relax more and really like command yourself to relax, you will break out and break free. And then you
There
can
were
bring
times
your
when
full consciousness there.
yep,
Yeah.
there was time where I would come out and I'd be like, okay, I'm about to hit the ground and I'm about to fly. I'm about to hit the ground, I'm about to walk around this room and this and that. Next, I just start flying backwards, just going through walls. Just I'm just seeing different living rooms. I'm going through everything. Boom, boom. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Why I'm just flying backwards? But you could command it and just be like, stop. And it'll just be like, you be like, okay, put me down. Like it's like you got to talk to yourself. It's like put me down. Okay, I'm down. Like even
Oh, that's another good
yeah,
aspect. Yeah, for sure.
because it's almost like
All right,
it's almost, they just do some just taking you somewhere. Like, God damn, put me down.
Let's
But
see if we got some other questions. CC says,
when
when in sleep paralysis, how do you know when your soul is actually detaching? She says she hasn't had an OBE yet because she tries to lift up out of body too early, but it feels like I'm detaching from the body. So when you're in sleep paralysis and you're leaving your body, you actually don't have to do anything. You will literally just detach. And when I say you will detach, you will feel it. It will feel as if you could just be out, like you'll know. Like you don't have to do anything necessarily. Like I know Robert Monroe and that they teach you to roll out and stuff. That's when you're not in sleep paralysis. That's like more so like when you're in the vibrational state or trying to shift your reality from this one to that one. But if you do it the sleep paralysis way, there's many ways to leave. If you do it the sleep paralysis way, you won't do anything and your body will just float up. Oftentimes you will feel as if you're physically floating. And you'll be spinning, you'll be floating out, you can feel like you're sinking through the bed. So like that's what you're waiting for. You're waiting to feel as if you're actually out, and it will feel like as if you are, and then at that moment then you can move.
Yeah.
4-5, were you going to say something?
That's why I always, when I tell people about the sleep paralysis, people, they would have a sleep paralysis, they get scared, they see a shadow being and this and that. When you in sleep paralysis, it's like you loose. It's almost like you're loose in there.
The
You
veil is
can move
off.
that.
Gone.
Yeah. So if something try to attack you, you can move your etheric body or whatever you want to call it, and you can because you can easily leave. But the problem is that when people be in sleep paralysis, they still thinking physical. So when they trying to leave, they so focused on their physical body that they sitting there like, oh my God, no, stop, wake up, Jesus. So they be terrified. But once you realize that when you realize you loosen the body, you just leave like that. You already loose. Just sit up.
Yeah.
But it's a mental thing, but it's a mind thing. You got to move with the mind.
And somehow some people do it at times. Like, if you want to start moving that body, like, just sit down and imagine your hand doing this, but don't actually move your hand. That's the body you start moving when you start being sleep paralysis. Like me, I don't get paralyzed because I'm always just, for me, it's like I just drop inside of another body and I could just start moving that one. Now, granted, I might, if I'm like very loose in my body, I just got to calm down a bit more and detach more from my senses because, if you're trying to move yourself, but you're only thinking physical, you're trying to move a body which you're not attached to. Sleep paralysis literally happens because you're detaching from your physical senses. So your physical body is immobile until you reconnect with it.
Yeah. So reconnect with it. Yeah. So to add further to this, I want to be very clear here. So the out of body state is physical and you will be physically moving yourself. But when you're in sleep paralysis, if you wait and you feel the disconnect and you're floating above your body or something and you really feel all of yourself, then you're going to physically move as if you're physically there. You're already on that state. If you wait and you do it correctly. But if you don't and you're just still in sleep paralysis, you can move your physical hand, and that's where you will use your mental aspect. You can envision yourself floating up, envision yourself somewhere else, and then that will physically be your reality. But if you wait until you're already floating out or you're already disconnected, you will then physically move. You see, there's layers to it, and you'll see it after you experience it a couple times. You'll know.
The reason I'll say like subtle bodies is because like I get that things are solid and dense and stuff, but like, so when you're doing this, right, you're moving a hindrance man out of atoms right now. You know what I'm saying? If I sit down and I feel this, that still feels real, could feel very solid. And it feels solid out of your body.
Yeah.
But it's a subtle body though. Like it's still solid, it's still dense, but it's more light based, not like atom based. Although atoms do come from light though. So I'm saying that because if you get used to like when it comes to feeling is not exclusively tied to the physical body. Like your body doesn't feel anything. You're the feeler of things because what's feeling? Feeling is a way of perceiving information. Your soul is what perceives. If somebody is quote unquote dead, meaning that the body's not animated and you touch that body, it doesn't feel anything. You're the one that feels things. So when we describe feeling and like density and things being solid, it's not exclusively tied to this body. But when people think that, they'll try to feel themselves move, but they're trying to move this body, instead of a more subtle body. That subtle body does still feel solid. It's going to feel where you could touch it. It's going to feel more real than this right here, because feeling is not something of the body. It's just that when certain things touch your body, you have an etheric body inside you that's communicating information to your soul, and it says that this feels like that, but your body doesn't feel anything. You're just getting signals communicated to your soul that says generate this experience. So with that being said, if you could separate feeling things in a solid way from like your physical body, just start feeling yourself do things like this without actually doing this right here, you start to build that actual etheric body more, and now you stop being paralyzed. You start to move that more subtle body, and you're still going to feel solid. Physical is going to be very real, more real than this, because now you're not bound to this shell that's actually blocking what you can feel. You feel more things out of body because your physical body is actually blocking part of your ability to perceive
electrons repel
information.
each other. Yeah, and the
Exactly.
electrons and the atoms are actually repelling each other. So outside of your body, you're actually able to physically touch something. And I do want to say that there's strong distinctions here, because this is where we get the difference between remote viewing, astral projection, and a full-blown out-of-body experience, like the way that I speak on it, right? Now, when you're in these states and you're moving mentally, that's an astral projection state. That's not a full-blown out-of-body like I'm speaking of. But there is ways where you can go from an astral projection state, like if you're in sleep paralysis, you can, or the vibrational phase, and you're imagining yourself somewhere or doing something, you can do that. But then from there, if you want to have a full-blown out-of-body experience, you need to bring your consciousness fully there. And that's when I use commands and things like that. And then you will be in a full-blown 100% out-of-body experience by the way I speak on it. Another way to initiate a full-blown out-of-body experience is to wait in sleep paralysis until you are floating out, and then you will physically move. It's nothing mental at that point. Now, you can still move mental through your intention and setting your will, and that's how you can navigate. But you will physically be there as well. Like, you'll physically be moving and walking. That's a full-blown out-of-body experience that that we speak of. But if you're doing things mentally, that's more of like an astral projection state. But then once you get fully there, there's commands and things to use. There's tons of techniques and exit points, but that's the difference. And there's a big difference in things that you can access in these states. Remote viewing, your physical body is not really even shut down. Your consciousness is kind of just surfing and things like that. Like, I've done that even before I left my body. I've looked through a straw and been able to see words and stuff. I'm like, okay, that's cool, but it's not really clear. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm not really getting nothing from that. And that's where I see a lot of people speak about one person. I'm not going to throw shade or nothing, but if you're a remote viewer, you're not going to be seeing things as accurately as you will if you're in a full-blown out-of-body experience. And the same with astral projection. You're not fully there. You're literally just navigating one side of it. But as you conscious more, as you put more into your physical essence there, and once you have one, you'll know the difference. Like, once you have a full-blown, like, you'll know the difference.
You can't mistake it.
I'm really here. I'm really here and focused. It's like a power-up. It's like, it's completely different. You see, it's completely different.
You'll be looking at wall textures and carpet
textures. You could literally feel everything now. There's no shell blocking you. And that's why even like people that could like do stuff like, for example, if I were to imagine myself pushing this cup over, if my etheric body is strong enough, it's going to actually push the cup, because this is how, because what's matters just condensed energy. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, if you could condense your energy so much to actually affect physical things, you'll be able to do that. That's why if you want to actually like train these other bodies that you have with you shit, because how can I put this? There's a reason why when you leave your body and like you open a door, you don't see the door open physically. Like, even if you're in a full-blown OBE, if I were to open my door in an OBE, my girlfriend's not going to see that door open, because like I'm not touching like the atoms of the door per se. I'm not moving like that. So it's like subtle. When we understand subtle bodies and how these things work, it becomes easier to develop yourself, because we got to think about like these ancient these ancient yogis and monks that been leaving their body for years, they weren't even trying to do it. They were just naturally detaching from their senses, feeling their energy body and stuff like that. And this just led to naturally coming out the body super duper fast. So if you can separate this sense of like, because I don't mean like moving mentally, I mean just like being able to actually like notice that when you feel things, it's not the body feeling them. You start to live from the thing that actually does feel them. You begin to actually form more energy inside that etheric body that transitions you outside of your body. And like it's gonna feel like it's going to feel the most real as anything could ever feel, because there's no physical body blocking yourself. People get mistaken knowing they think that movement and feeling is something that's of the physical. So when they try to move inside of a sleep paralysis state, they're thinking physical body must move and not like actual thing that feels needs to move. Because once again, if you just sit down and do this without actually lifting your hand, you'll be closer to the thing that's actually moving outside your body. And if you notice, when you feel that, it feels real. When you touch the, like if you got so good, you can actually touch the cup and actually feel the lines of the cup. And like actually, like if you got so good, you can actually push the cup over without even moving your hand, because it's your etheric hand. And if people can operate more like that, it'll be easy. Like sleep process becomes so easy to bypass, because you'll start just you'll make yourself float. You can just turn that on, because once again, it's the physical body's not the feeler of things. You generate all those things.
That's another technique where you're able to just shift your consciousness and be able to tap into these things for sure. But I will say, you know, there is a significant difference between these things. Remote view and astral projection and full blown out of body. There is a significant difference. And I want to say the other side is the real life. This is a dumbed down copy, a dumbed down version of it, built with limitations. You see, the other side is real life. That is home. That is where we come from, and that's where we all return back to. All of these things here are just terms for humans to make up, you see, but what it is you're just returning back to the eternal aspect of yourself. At the end of the day, you're outside of this physical body. You return back to all that there is. If you want to call this your soul, if you want to call this etheric, astral, but whatever you want to call it, you return back to yourself. And now there are ways to make yourself fully there and conscious and 100% OBE. When I say a fully conscious 100% OBE, I mean you're in your full soul. All parts of you is there, just in forgetfulness temporarily until you meet back. Now, in these other states, that's when you're tapping into these other bodies that these ancient civilizations speak about, like the etheric body, the astral body, and things like that. That's where you're navigating those things. But when you're in full, you're there, you're 100%, and it's more real than here. When I say this is a dumbed down version of this, it is, because when we're touching something, we're never even actually touching something, like Genie was saying, because the electrons, the atoms of us and that of which we are touching actually repel each other. We actually never even physically touch anything. And outside of your body, you're outside of the physical limitations. You don't have atoms and things like that we have here. So you're actually able to touch it. And when I say touch it, you're really able to touch it. And if you align your vibration or focus, you can actually even move through the substance.
That's what I was about to say.
I've with this for a while. You can move through things and touch things. And now sometimes when you're out, you may walk into a wall thinking you're about to go through it, and it won't.
I did that.
Several times. Knocked my head.
Why is this happening? Like, oh shit. But you can go through stuff. You can fly through your roof and touch things. You can do that too, but it has to do with your frequency. Everything is relative to the frequency of the observer. And I know frequency is hard to understand, but when I say frequency, it's really your thoughts, feelings, and emotions that vibrate out. That's how souls and humans alike control our frequency and things like that. So that's really what it is. And now, with the stuff that I'm speaking about, this is just general terms. Of course, there's more ways to describe these things in terminology, but like I said, terminology is really primitive. That's why I personally try to stay away from all of those things that, you know, old ancient teachings have said and things like that, because it puts a preconceived notion in your head of like, oh, okay, that's what it is, when really it's really simple. You just leave your body and you're in your soul, you know. I mean, you can call it whatever the hell you want, but that's what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right. So Tibetan monks used to wear heavy chains to keep themselves floating away. Oh wow. Yeah,
Yeah, that
it's
wasn't
just
going. Hey, put a
You know,
chain on like.
if you want to get really advanced with certain things, metaphysics is that's where that's where because people get too caught up on metaphysics without knowing where it actually is supposed to be applied. Like the way I live my life when it comes to like finding out reality and stuff like that stuff is cool and all, but it's like if you're not a good person just living from your soul, none of that shit matters. Like
Mm,
you could find out about all these secrets, but if you're a horrible person, doesn't matter like that, you know? So it's like metaphysics can help you a lot with trying to just understand the structure of why things are how they are. And that's where ancient teachings come into play. But even they'll tell you, like, that's not their main focus. Like most like when people, even regular people, like fuck the bucks and shit, when they start
mhm.
leaving their body, it just happened naturally at first.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to leave all the time. It's just like, oh, shit, I popped out. Like fourth eye was just leaving his body and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then metaphysics can help you be like, oh, so that's what this thing might be, that's what that thing might be, and stuff like that. But at a certain point, you got to go beyond the metaphysics of things and simply just be you. Even if that's leaving your body or being in body and being a freaking whatever the hell you want to be, that's the most important thing when it comes to all this. So, as a person that likes to study all that type of stuff, you got to also know that when you got to know when to put it down too and be like, yo, I gotta live my life. And although I know how things are built now, if you're not a good person, you're not living from your soul, you're not following your purpose, quote unquote purpose, you're not just living for what you actually want to do, that stuff stops mattering because you're gonna pass away and say, damn, I learned all these things, but the person I was without a good person. And that's gonna feel worse than anything you could ever imagine.
yeah. Now about what he's speaking about, when you guys leave, the only things that matter when you're having a life review or something of that nature, or even viewing a past life or anything that has to do with you, the only thing that matters is how you treated people, how you interacted, and the lessons that you learned from that. You will not matter if you have a nice house. It will not matter if you have a nice car. None of those things matter. That's really just the earthly stuff. Yeah, I still like all those things too, but it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters when you're viewing these things, and the only thing that is important, is how you treat people, how you interact with people, basically the love that you showed here and the
Yeah.
experiences that you gain from here. Because you can't take knowledge is the only thing that carries with you lifetime to lifetime. This is where we get the illusion of old souls and things like that. Those with that had a lot of experiences before, like Genie. He's a very old soul. You can tell just by listening to him. He's had many
Yeah.
incarnations as ETs or something. Like, you just know when you speak to these people, right?
Yeah.
It's because that's the only thing that carries you in this life. So if you're focused on this life as knowledge and wisdom and insights, that's going to be what carries with you. That's what you can take with you. Now,
Mhm.
if you were to come back, which I don't even know if this is going to be a thing moving on in a few, how much longer this is going to be a thing. But then when you come back, you take those knowledges and those experiences you gained, you take them with you. You're just in forgetfulness. So you will
Yeah.
know these things, but you don't know how you know them. This is the same way when Forfai just said he was in this experience. He knows these people, but he doesn't
Exactly.
remember how he knows them. That's because
Mm-hmm.
we're in the
It's in there.
forgetfulness. All of our memory's not there, but it's still in there. That's
Mhm.
why all my life when I was in school, it felt like I was just relearning things. It was just like I was
Mhm.
remembering things. Like I wasn't being taught. I was just remembering things.
Yeah.
That's my whole life in school. Every class I was ever in, I was always the smartest one in that class. Always.
Mhm.
And it was just like I was just remembering things. That's why knowledge is the only. So I say that to say the vanity things, the attachments here don't mean anything. The only thing that is important is the wisdom and knowledge and experience that you gained in these experiences, because this is what goes with you. And as long as you value yourself and are nice, if things, a good way to think about this, how do you know you're living a good life here, a righteous life, and that you'll be happy when you cross over it? When you're doing something, if it feels good to you, if you know the truth, you know the feeling of, oh, that was wrong, or that's bad. It could be as simple as when you're making food for somebody else and you're like, oh nah, I want to put this on my plate instead of that. There, little things like that. Like you feel it. No, I'm just gonna be honest and you just know, and you just do things correctly all the time. That's how you know you're in alignment, and you're doing good here.
Yeah.
I hope that helps clear things up. Question: the last time I was in sleep paralysis, I felt like I was pure awareness, like a floating ball of pure awareness. What did I do wrong that time that I need to change?
Nothing.
I wouldn't say you did anything wrong
And
necessarily. There's just different states and things like that. Now, if you're saying you felt like you were pure awareness, like a floating ball of pure awareness, was your goal and your objective to have an actual full blown out of body experience, like we're speaking of? Well, if you felt like that, you can transition from there to having a full blown out of body experience. If you
You gotta
find yourself
condense
in a
yourself,
state,
really.
say you can just command it. Say clarity now. I learned that from William Bowman, because I was thinking of like all these long commands to say and stuff, but I
I
found
will
him and I was like, well,
back.
he already got one. He already got one. So bow, let's use that. Clarity now. So if you find yourself in any space like that, say clarity now and command it and feel it, and you'll be there and fully present. So I wouldn't say you did anything wrong. And that's just another state of being, you know. That's even a higher state of being than we speak about. Like when we talk about the planes of existence, that's what exists out there outside of this construct. So you were probably tapping into that, for sure.
Thing
Yeah,
is,
it's really just the way that I would say is because, like, yeah, really, like, your soul can have form, but your soul's inherently formless. Your soul's an
mhm,
observer, but it can choose to take on form. So, like, when you're leaving your body, if you want to have like what is full blown, you're just condensing all your awareness into that other body outside of yourself. You could say your soul body, light body, whatever the heck, because your soul forms itself through light. Your soul is an awareness that has a mind, and that mind has ideas that says, I want to form this way, that you form yourself as light. So if you're just floating as pure awareness, just literally choose, like, you could just choose to want to take on a form. That's what souls already do. They're born as an awareness, and that awareness has a certain mind, identity, personality, and it wants to express that through a certain form, and it does that through light. And then that light connects to your physical body through, the chakras, meridians, all that stuff. So if you're as a pure awareness, just have the intent to say, I want to form myself, because that's what your soul does anyway, and all these other planes and
Hmm.
whatnot, for sure.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah.
and sometimes you just gotta go with the experience. Don't think too much. Just
Hmm.
experience.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Stop. Like you was a ball of light of awareness. Just travel. Experience what you want to experience. Don't think too hard. Like, man, why I'm not a body? You probably would have manifested into a physical body after a while if you would have just
Hmm.
kept going with it. Just to start experiencing. That's what I be doing. I
Yeah.
experience because sometimes your
That's
Hmm.
outer
great
bodies
advice,
will take
guys.
you. Sometimes your outer bodies will take you where you need to go. A lesson you might need to learn. So sometimes going with the flow is a good thing. Now, if you know how to target places and you want to go to places that you target, say do that. But sometimes you'll be put underneath little tests and see if you pass them. I failed a lot. So all that little fighting and stuff. But just experience. Just let the experience be what it is sometimes. I be have a bunch of people like, I think I had a lucid dream, and I don't know if it's a lucid dream or out of body. Experience the lucid dream. Learn how to navigate the lucid dream. Learn what a lucid dream is, so that when you start to be able to transition from the lucid dream to the out of body, you'll know how to do it because you'll know where you at when you in the experience. You'll know you're in a lucid
Mhm.
dream instead of, okay, I'm not in the out of body. I'm in a lucid dream. Let me, you know what I'm saying? I just,
Now that's
Mhm.
actually that's really powerful, because yeah, like if you're in a lucid dream and you learn something that was really dope in that dream, does it matter if you're out of body or not? Well, I guess maybe if your mind, but like if you really learned something that helped you out and made you get an insight into yourself and how you want to operate, bro, if it's a dream, so what? That still helped you. If they made you a better person, that's
Mhm.
all that matters, bro. Because once again, there's people leaving
Mhm.
their body, and like these evil people that have cerebrals, they could leave their body, but they don't have access to certain things. So when they're getting out of body and stuff like that, like they're doing harmful things that don't help them and actually lower their evolution. Meanwhile, with somebody like you might just meditate one day and get a download and you feel better about yourself. You know how to better operate inside your life. So if you are evolving in your life, becoming a better person, you feel more connected with yourself in reality, that's what really matters the most, for sure.
Yeah. And that's why I started, I did a thing with lucid dreaming, helping people induce lucid dreaming. Because that's another gateway to the other side, too. If you become aware in a lucid dream, you're able to command yourself to pop out. Like becoming lucid in the dream is one of the gateways, you see, because once you become lucid in the dream, you're able to command more clarity, bring yourself fully there and present, and then you'll be in a full blown out of body inside that dream. Or at that point, you can command to go back to your body, float out of your body, be in sleep paralysis, float out and have an OBE that way. You can even pop the dream and get out and step into base reality, because dreams are essentially the other side. The other side is defined as things that we can't see here, the other side of the light spectrum. And what is that? That is a dream, because our souls are constantly creating things. Dreams are just your souls creating a dimensional space for you to have an experience. And because our souls, our consciousness never sleeps, just these physical bodies do. So when you're sleeping and you have a dream, it's still creating a space on the other side. It's just how aware are you? How much awareness do you have in there? And once you're able to bring your full awareness into there, you're then able to, okay, let me get out of there. It's just another space, another method to get into. And dreams is all good, and it makes it fun to go to sleep. When you tap into these skills to lucid dream or leaving your body, everything is now fun. When you go to sleep, you look forward to going to sleep. Just last night I had a dream, or yesterday I was taking a nap, I had a dream in there. And in dreams all the time, there's always signs for me to like leave my body. Like I was in this dream yesterday, and we were going, somebody had something to show us. So I was in an elevator, and the next thing you know, I get an invitation to go somewhere. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm about to know this top secret stuff, right? But I was still in a dream, so like I wasn't really conscious. And then in the dream, there was like these bases, and people were there talking, and then they would disappear. And I'll be like, oh damn, this is some out of body shit. I was like, I'm about to leave my body. I was like, oh, I'm about to leave but I was tired. I didn't really want to. So I was like, nah, I'm not really feeling this right now. I was like, let me just go back to sleep. Like, let me get out of here. Let me go back to sleep. Because it was starting to happen. And as these people were disappearing, I felt the sensation of me leaving my body. And I was like, oh no, I don't really want to do this right now. So I shut it down. But you know, there's and dreams are just another gateway. Yeah. Oftentimes in dreams, people will even come in my dream. Yeah, my grandfather's appear. Well, not my grandfather's still alive, but I was in a dream with him, and then all of a sudden he turned into somebody else that I knew on the other side, and he was like, "All right, wake up! Now it's time for us to get out of here." You know, sometimes my mom's appeared in a dream. Like I'd be with my partner, and then next thing you know, she turns into my mom, and my mom would be like, all right, wake up. Now it's time to get out of here, and things like that. So, you know, dreams are a gateway to the other side for sure. And 4-5, I love that advice, man. Just go with the experience. Just be happy to experience anything. You know, that's good advice.
Dude, the other night, bro, I had a dream. A zombie apocalypse popped off. I started like hitting somebody with a door stopper, right? So I'm like, oh wait, I'm dreaming. But I'm like, yo, this shit kind of fun. Literally, I started to observe my dream self beat because I'm with this door. So I'm like, yo, this dream is actually kind of fun. Like, I might want to watch this shit play out. Watch this stuff play out. Second slip up. But then I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to leave real quick and then shut down the dream. I was on my side though. It's like I'm about to come out. I'm like, I'm on my side. I could feel that I'm on my side. I don't like this. Should I change myself? So I ended up canceling it, but yeah, it's really easy to leave from a dream. And sometimes you want to stay inside the dream. It can actually be really entertaining sometimes.
I'll be having people come to me. I'm at work. One of the guys I work with come to me talking about, me and him don't even really talk like that. Well, we talk, but he like, you was in my dream last night telling me to find my peace and my this and that. I'm like, it's like the third person that told me that. I'm like, how they keep saying, I didn't even remember. I'll be wondering, like subconsciously, like, but he don't know how to talk about spiritual stuff. So I'm like, how did he get that? Like, that's some crazy stuff. But what y'all said, like the natural, like sometimes I think people force it too much. And when they force it, you got to think like some people's minds are not like somebody might have a condition or something you don't know about. And they try to force some stuff, and then they go into this experience, and it's real. and they like, oh my God, this is real. Then they start seeing this and they start seeing this aliens, all this stuff. Now they coming back and they like, hey, it's real. Now they put that they didn't lost their mind a little bit because they didn't went too far with the spirituality. It's like sometimes you gotta just relax and enjoy it. It's real. Just know it's real. And you don't have to be overexcited about it. You don't have to be super it's not super negative. It's real. That's your home over there. You just realizing it now. You're just coming back to yourself and realizing like, okay, I got a home over there. So whether you come out as an energy ball or you come out as a full person with one leg limping, you know what I'm saying, experience it, because you might be an old man in a past life. You never know what you're experiencing. I didn't came out and was an old man, felt it and everything, like in the bones, like came out and was talking to like a granddaughter that I don't know. Like you will experience all kinds of things when it comes to out of bodies. Like it was things I experienced that I when I was younger I would have never thought. Like because I thought I knew everything. Like back when I was young, I was like, oh, I got this figured out. I'm whooping that. I mean, whooping tail in the outer body. I'm whooping them. I'm seeing these beings. I'm going through this void, the white void, the energy, all these different things. But I just let it go. I just go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? But I have targeted places, and I want to learn how to do it more. And that's one reason why I watch Alchemist and stuff too, because I know he targets, and and GenieDot can target. I'm
It's
not
very
real.
easy. So when you're out, instead of going with the flow, first you have to be fully conscious and aware in the experience. This is why I made that distinction between astral projection and remote view. You have to fully be there and present, and you can do this by commanding clarity now, looking at your hands. I found touching my hands brings me more fully there. And when you're fully there, at that point, you just start commanding things. You can just speak, use your spoken word, say, take me here. Or
Mm,
sometimes if you just set your intention, a being will be there for you and they'll take you there. Or if you just set your intention, sometimes when I go, if I just set my intention, like to access something, like when I say set my intention, when I'm practicing before I go to sleep, I'll literally just think of it and I'll just set my intention. Say, I now set my intention to leave my body and access this. And then I just let it go. And then when I'm outside in the experience, I will be taken there. If my vibration is in alignment with it. And when I say taken there, I mean like if I go through my mirror with my intention and vibration, it will carry me. And on the other side of that, I will be where I desired to be. Or if I open up my door, sometimes if I'm leaving somewhere, I just know beyond a shadow of a doubt that when I open up my door, I will be where I want to be. But to do this, you need to have the signature of the place. You need to, one, know it exists, and
mm,
two, it helps to have the frequency of the place of which you want to desire in your mind. So it helps when you've been there before to go there again. But you don't always need to. Like to access your heavenly realm or your heavenly kingdom, you can just set your intention to access that and say, take me to my heaven out of your body. If you just say that word, like verbally, say, take me to my heaven, you'll be presented there because it's in your soul's blueprint. It's in your soul's memory to go there and to access it, you
yeah.
know. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I think
it's just a matter of consciousness. How conscious are you? Because sometimes in the experiences, like you just go with the flow. Like that's what I did the other day. But like when I said that the being came there and helped me out, and when we came to the room, I was in this other place with water on either side. It was because before, when I was practicing, I set my intention to access that. So like when I left, that's where I was taken. That's one way it can happen.
Mhm.
But if you bring yourself fully there, you can just start commanding places and moving your ultimate authority. Yeah.
Yeah, I think mirror is one of the easiest ones. You literally just put your hand on that jaw, like, yeah, I want to go to this place. For me, the mirror starts to like get wavy and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, it's right. I just walk through it up there. I'm like, okay, this is lit. Other times too, like you said, Alchemist, how like if you have like a subtle intent and just start like walking down the street, sometimes reality just kind of forms to the place. It's like, oh shit, like I mean, oh
Mhm.
snap,
Yeah.
there's lit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that three strikes we out. I'm gonna stop talking now. Ta.
Yeah, but yeah, what you're saying, Jeannie, yeah, sometimes your environment will just collapse and go around you when you're moving and things like that. And another thing with the mirror, so when I was leaving, probably this was probably like 2 years ago now, I was leaving pretty consistently, and at this time I was playing with my mirror all the time, like I was going out through my mirror all the time. And this one particular time I was out, but I entered this very quickly. So I stayed up all night speaking on the phone, right? Talking on the phone. And then it was like 6 or 7 in the morning. So I go to sleep. As soon as I go to sleep, as soon as I close my eyes, I am now outside of my body. Like as soon as I close my eyes, I'm outside of my body very quickly. And then I'm walking, and it was very hard for me to walk. It was like I have like shackles on my legs. Like it was very hard
Yeah.
for me to walk, and I could hear myself breathing still. Like I could hear myself breathing still, and I'm like, damn. So that must be me in sleep paralysis. Like it was hard for me to breathe. So like I was still feeling my physical body, but also, all right, bro, get that out of here. This is not that frequency for that. Like this is not even the place for that. Like who
Yeah.
you think you are? Like you're in the presence of, like this is some elevated stuff here that we're talking about. Get that out of here. Now, and then as I'm in the mirror, I see myself in the mirror. Now I fell asleep, just in just my underwear. But as I'm in the mirror, I see myself, and I had an outfit on that I previously had on, like that I was wearing pretty frequently. And I seen this, and I'm like, all right, let me try to get into my mirror and get out of here, because it was hard for me to move. So I thought my mirror was going to take me there. Like as I get there, I'll just be out and we'll be free. Well, nah, Nick, because as soon as I went through my mirror, I was instantly back in my body, and I was like, damn, that didn't work. So you do have to be free, and it is frequency based. So like I did go through my mirror, but then I was right back into my body. So there's some times when you go through the mirror that it doesn't really help.
That's
Yeah,
one
it's like
thing.
it's like you weren't separated enough. Like if you're like moving in shackles, hearing yourself breathe, it's kind of like you're still attached to your body a bit. So like try to go somewhere, could have just set you back. It seemed like.
So I don't think I've ever been through the mirror yet, but yeah, I just be in the experience for a long time.
Yeah, if you don't know about these things, like it would take you a long time to understand, like, okay, let me go through my mirror. And how I even knew about the mirror in the first place was I was watching this testimonial of this girl, Shira, I believe her name was. And she was like, she went through her mirror, and I was like, oh, all right, let me try that. And I went through my mirror, and everything was good. But yeah, it takes a long time to figure these things out, for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I be like, people used to ask me like, how do you stay in the outer body so long? When I'm in the outer body, and especially if it's like a normal like environment, I'm there and I'm aware, and it's because I'm there. I'm present, just like here right now. I'm present right now here in the moment. So that's how I think in my outer bodies, and it makes it to where I can stay in it longer. It's like I'm here. I don't need to. I know I'm in the outer body, so let me just experience this. Let me see what's up. Let's see what these people talking about. Whatever you experience, what I'm saying? You just gotta, it's all about relaxing. Like you just gotta surrender. You're like, hey, look, but what one thing people don't realize, our spirit, our energy is massive. Like you are very, like like y'all too, everybody on here, way more powerful than y'all think. Like it's so much, uh, what you can do, as to who you are. Like even when you go into them realms with the Anunnaki, and they tall, you can make yourself the same height as them. It's like we'll be looking at them like, oh my god, it's so tall. But all you gotta do is in your mind go, oh, let me go ahead and get on their level. Like it's so easy once you relax and let go, and you just all right. Cause I did that. I was looking at them like, hold up, nah, y'all I ain't gonna be looking up at y'all like that. Hold up, let me get a little taller too.
And we'll get to Push Button's question in a second, but to touch on what you were saying, for it is very true. It's a state of being. It's a frequency, and as soon as you shift your mindset in that state, things will open up to you. It's just a frame of thinking. It really is, and it goes for fear. It goes for anything that you want to experience when you're on the other side. As soon as you shift your frequency or your line of thinking, things will appear, things will break down, or you'll be on their level, just as 4-5 said it. Yeah, that's another great point, man. So Push Buttons asked, what was that question? Did you all experience a loud crash of sound the first times you went out? Thanks. Yeah, and this is kind of like what Jeannie was saying earlier with the vibrational phase. Things like that happen in the beginning. I was hearing loud booms quite often when I was leaving my body at first. Like I would be in these states, I'd be sleeping, trying to leave, and then I'd hear a loud boom. It'd be like a thunder going off or something would change, and I'd be like, oh, like what's that? What's going on? And yeah, I was hearing that for like 4 or 5 times, I'd say, in the beginning when I was first practicing. And then after that, I don't hear loud booms anymore. I do go through the vibrational phase quite often still. It's just like if I don't leave for a while, or if I'm really, embedded here mentally or something like that, I will experience a vibrational phase still. But the loud booms, I don't really hear those anymore. But yeah, that's my insight. And the reason for that is because you're transitioning from this frequency to the higher frequency, and that comes in the form of loud booms. It's a more drastic change, because like when you just elevate from this frequency to the next one, you'll hear a loud boom. And a lot of the times, and I will say, when I heard that, I wasn't in the vibrational state. When I heard that, it was because I was here, and then I hear that, and boom, now like I'm in the other side. And it was in the beginning, so I didn't really know that, so like I would hear it and I'd be like, oh, like what's going on?
The hardest part is trying to ignore it when you feel like it's, because it sounds like it's like something really in your room.
Yeah.
You like kind of like, hold up, is that real or is this? Okay, let me just.
That's that too. Yeah, I remember being in there in the beginning too, when you don't know these things. It's freaky. Like when you're just like, what's going on?
You heard some babies.
The TV on, yeah, and the news.
Yeah, bro.
The news was on, and I was like, what? All the TVs are off. I'm like, and I hear people talking, and it sounded like the news was on, and I was like, what is going on? Like, is this really life, or am I hearing something on the other side? Yeah.
It happened to me yesterday. It happened to me this morning with my girl's alarm that didn't even go off for real life. I'm like, wait, why am I hearing the alarm? She's not going to work today. Yeah. And it's been times like I'm about to leave my body, and I'm hearing like my phone on YouTube. I'm like, YouTube? I'm not watching no YouTube right now. What are we talking about? Like,
I remember the other day or a couple of weeks ago, I was listening to binaural beats, right? And I'm about to leave, and then all of a sudden it turns to like some rock music. And I'm like, oh damn, the binaural, I must have been out for a long time. Like the binaural beats is over. But then I'm like, wait a minute. And then I'm thinking like, wait a minute, this is on a downloaded track. Nothing's coming on after this. I was like, oh, I'm out. So I'm like, you will hear things.
I didn't hear all kinds of things. I didn't hear creepy things. I didn't hear babies crying, cars crashing, a plane. One time I heard a plane going, zzz. I was like, it sounded like a plane. I'm like, what the hell is a plane doing by my house? I'm like, what the fuck? The babies cry used to trip me out. Like I ain't no babies in this damn house. How's a baby cry? Who the broke in is brought a baby in here?
Yeah. Sometimes I hear like some weird chanting or like people whispering like weird stuff. Like blah, 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 blah,
I had that before.
Like what is going on? Yeah. And then, but I realized it's like you're tuning your frequency, and when you're in these stages, so you'll pick up on different sounds and stuff, and then once you're out, like it won't be there. But it'd be weird stuff, and I'd be like, what is going on? Like, who is this?
I'm hearing stuff. Then I'm like seeing like faces. I'm like, oh, I'm seeing like a random lady. I'm seeing like this like green face. I'm like, what the heck? But I'm just like transitioning still, so I'm just like seeing all these things pop up till I fully actually get out. I'm like, okay, I'm good now. Like I'm actually here. Like, yeah.
I was having that happen, and then I'll start getting my vision. Next, something just walk right in the room. I like that one I was telling you about the horse. Just walk right in the room. You sitting there laying like, what the fuck? How the horse get in the damn house? I don't supposed to be in the house.
And when you're in that in-between state, like there's so many ways and scenarios where you'll be in your body, like, or be leaving. Like sometimes you'll be going to sleep, you'll just become aware and hearing these noises and stuff. But I will say, when you are in that in-between state, or like in sleep paralysis, or like you're just aware and you're trying to leave, and that's when beings will start to come in the room, it is like, oh man, come on, like give me a second, like let me
out. For real.
Like, let me get out, like let me get out first before y'all start coming, because I'm in a real vulnerable state right now. Like I can't move or nothing, you know what I mean? Like,
especially if you're on your side, you sitting on the side looking sideways, look.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. One time I was.
You try to get your breath.
One time I'm trapped. I'm trapped, right? And I'm trying to leave, and like I'm on my side, and I can't move, and I hear this witch lady behind me crying and stuff, and I'm like, oh man, like what? Not today, crazy witch lady.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
why are you here? And you
Hey,
can't move or nothing, and it's just like what's going on?
I done had a full part.
Um,
I've been laying on the like on my side, and some woman, I don't know who this woman was, but I could tell she just laid behind me and put her arm around me. I could see her hand like, okay, this is a woman, but I'm laying down like, what the fuck? Like, ain't nobody in this house. Like, who the hell is laying with me right now? I'm thinking it's real. I like make myself like snap out of it. When I woke up, I'm by myself. I'm like, who just cuddled up with me and spooned me like this? This
Yeah.
is crazy. You know,
Yeah.
spoon
mhm.
Nah.
me. I'm not supposed to be the little
Yeah.
spoon.
And the reason why beings do this is because it's like you're going home, and really feel like they forget how it is coming from being a human to going there. So like they just
Yeah.
be appearing, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh hey, what's up,
Let me
man?
just lay
You
with
know?
you. You want to be the little
Yeah,
spoon? Like,
one time I met my friend and he tried to smack me out of my body. I'm like, what? Don't hit me, bro. Like, what? But it was just like if I was in Genie's room right now and I smacked him, like, come on, bro, like get your head in the game.
yeah.
It's really just like that. It wasn't
Yeah.
nefarious or anything, but
Yeah.
things like that.
I slapped this dude in the outer body one time. It was when I was young, when I thought I was about to be going around whooping everything. And I seen him. I was like, what? And I slapped him like, whoosh. And he slapped me back. I was about to cut. He slapped me back. I said, what the heck? Like, he done hit me. So yeah. But we just started having a regular conversation out there. I was like, all right, bro. You got it. He done hit me
Yeah,
back. Look, you got your leg back,
yeah.
man.
So I see somebody keep posting a question in here. Yo, Andre, how would I describe things like ADHD from a conscious perspective? So,
I got
Forefire,
ADHD.
you have ADHD. Yeah, you want to speak on it?
Hey, having ADHD and being in the outer body is like a superpower, but your attention goes everywhere. It's like
Mm-hmm.
this. It's almost like a. But the hard part about it is actually, well, I can't say leaving the body because I do it naturally, but just thinking about how my mind works. Our mind, you got to shut the mind off a little bit. So when you got ADHD, it's almost like you got to meditate. You know how you hear all the voices in your head, like I'm gonna go to work tomorrow, or I need to go to the grocery store. I got to wash clothes. You have to focus on all those until it's one. If you meditate and try to clear your mind, because it's like you gotta. How do I explain? It's like you talking to yourself, just that one person. But when I meditate, I listen to all my thought forms and I'll get rid of them, the ones that's not necessary. I don't know, like, but everybody can make their own technique up or something. But when it comes to ADHD, you gotta understand your mind is going everywhere. I'll be thinking
Mm-hmm.
about one thing and then next I'll go off. I'll be talking about something and forget what the hell I just said just that second, like because I'm thinking about something else. But when you actually leave your body, you go in the outer body state. It's like you focus on everything. You see so much, like
Yeah, that's
you.
that's that's what I was gonna say is now oftentimes when you have these mental illnesses or something like that, it's not apparent when you're out of your body. But what I understood about ADHD, and this was just a theory, but it goes on to what you said because I never had nobody that left their body that had it. But my theory was when people have ADHD, it's because they're used to being out of their body where you can access everything. And then when you come here, it's a little bit different. So that's why things are like that, because out of your body, you can go and know everything all at once. So it was kind of that was my theory, was that like people that
Yeah.
have that, it's just because they're used to it out of their body or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a it don't affect me, but I get that question a lot about people talking about how ADHD does it. How can they do it? I'll just do it naturally, but I've always been this way since a kid. Even as a little kid, I've always been a dreamer. So I've always been out of this. So it's like I never really been, when I was thinking about it, it's like I never really was fully attached to this physical reality mentally. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, I was always in my dreams. I was always thinking about my dreams and what's this and why am I here and all kind of stuff. I just didn't know why I was thinking that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get into different religions. I'm in Christianity. Then I'm like, let me read this, let me read that, going and studying everything. Then I got to a point where I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna experience. That's what I'm gonna do. Like I'm gonna experience. But it's good to know those things. It's good to know. Um, ADHD is superpower, man. You just gotta learn how to use it. You just gotta learn how to use it.
Yeah. Yeah. But all right, guys, I have an interview coming up this afternoon, and I also go on to this guy that can shoot electricity out of his hands today. So I do have to get out of here. But Genie, I appreciate you, bro, and your time. Thank you so much for coming. Forfi, I appreciate you and your time, man. Thank you guys so much for coming. And we'll have to do this again,
Yeah.
sometime, the three of us for sure. I appreciate you guys and keep going. Yeah, and if you guys want to see Forfi, he has his own YouTube channel, links in the description. He goes live pretty often. Genie's posting like 1 to 2 times a day on YouTube. I think at one point he was like, should I do 3? He was like, should I do 3 videos a day? So
Hey,
like these guys are consistent.
I'll be saying that. I'll be at work. I'll be like, oh, he dropped another one. Let me go listen to this, man.
Yeah, these guys are consistent. And Genie also, he did a 12 Planes of Existence presentation, available on Beyond the Veil. If you guys are there, check that out. That's very good as well. Yeah, so these guys are consistent. Check them out. Tomorrow I do have an Alchemy 101 presentation on my website. You guys can be there, where I start to teach you guys how to master this reality by combining things that I've known in the out-of-body state with things here in the physical. It's going to be the start of like a 1 to 2 year course, and by the end of it, we will totally understand how we can manipulate this environment here, and it translates directly to the out-of-body experience as well. You'll be able to leave easier. But yeah, Genie's great. Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys, and until next time, I'm sure you guys will be going live again soon, so check these guys out.
Already, man. Y'all take it easy, man.
Yeah, y'all take it. It was a great conversation, bro.
Yeah.
Peace out, y'all.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys.
Ghetto guru gone, man. Nah.
Yeah. All right, guys.